minutes earlier. That spun up really, really fast. And that particular rotation right there prompting a tornado warning for Chambers County. There is a good chance this is going to stay parallel to Interstate 85 through the county. But if you're in Valley or Lynette, I need you in your safe place right now. These storms have had a history not just of producing circulations, but producing tornadoes on the ground. So we need you in your safe place right now in the southern corner of Chambers County, the southern and eastern corner of Chambers County. Now, Ariana is putting a track on this for you, and as we move it up, you're going to see some communities up here in Troup County. Understand that there's no formal warning up here yet, but if this continues, this particular track, there might be down the line. Here are some of those times of arrival for you out ahead of this. So Northwest Point, 1:16 Eastern time, that's about 15 minutes or so. And some of those other communities, these are up here again in Troup County. But Hughley, right there, 12:10 Central. So that's here very, very soon. So that is a new tornado warning for Chambers County. I tell you what, let's take the track off. Let's zoom back into that circulation. And we'll also try to give you some street level looks out ahead of this thing. So right here where you see the green and the reds and the oranges together, that's the tornadic circulation. That's the radar looking at the motion of raindrops within this thunderstorm. And it's getting tighter and it's getting stronger. Let's query that really bright pixel right there and see what the winds are like with this particular storm. So, all right, so we're looking at 40, okay. So again, this is starting to gain some strength, so it's starting to get a little bit tighter. So that's your circulation there. The green, the winds are blowing toward the radar. The reds, the yellows, winds that are blowing away from the radar. And when you see them together real tight in a place like that, that's a good sign that you've got a tornado. Let's pull the correlation coefficient up here for you, the tornado debris detector, just to see. That could be, that's it right there. So that's a debris signature showing up. This is now a tornado that's on the ground in Chambers County. This is County Road 83. So there's Casita, Alabama, not to be confused with Casita, Georgia. This is not Chattahoochee County. This is Chambers County. County Road 83 runs through Casita. And if you live on County Road 83 and you are north of the town of Casita, you are under a threat of a tornado on the ground right now, spinning up very quickly in Chambers County. And there you see the debris that we're looking at. So this is no longer a possibility. This is no longer a maybe. It's a tornado on the ground in Chambers County, tracking to the north and east about 55 miles per hour. And it's going to be moving very quickly here through the county. So we need you in your safe place now out ahead of this thing. Hughley, heads up for you, the community of Nelson. This is probably going to pass just to your north, but eventually West Point, this could involve you. And when that warning comes out, you're not going to have a whole lot of time to get to your safe place. So we want you to go ahead and start thinking about it out ahead of this area. Hey, where can I go to get to a safe place? And I tell you what, guys here in the weather office, let's go ahead and send one of those headline alerts out ahead of this and take that all the way up into Troup County too, just to give folks a heads up of there's a tornadic storm potentially moving into your neck of the woods here pretty soon. If you're in Casita, Alabama, we need you in your safe place right now. That's Mitchell Springs Church. This is Evening Spring Church. And again, you might be looking at some of these places thinking, I've never heard of that. Some of these are historic sites. Some of those are just a marker on the road. Some of them might just be an intersection of a couple of roads. But at least if we just call this out, we can give you that idea of what's going on. So we've got a confirmed tornado now in Chambers County. Also, Ariana, you can just tell me this if you know. Have they said anything in the chat other than the confirmation of the tornado?
They just said TDS in Chambers County, be advised it is heading toward Lynette.
Gotcha. So heading toward Lynette. So Lynette right here. Let's zoom you in to the place where Harris, Chambers, and Troup all kind of come together right here. So there's West Point. There's Lynette, and you're starting to see a lot of the roads show up here. So this is a very highly populated area in Chambers County. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you. All right. So meteorologist Sally Ann McCord in the building too here. So again, we got all the Storm Team 9 working for you tonight. But Lynette, West Point, a heads up for you. You are out ahead of this. We want you to be in your safe place now. Your weather radio has probably gone off. Your WTVM weather app's probably gone off to let you know what's going on. We need you in your safe place now. Anywhere along Highway 29 in Chambers County as you come out of Troup County, as you come out of West Point, and anywhere along Interstate 85 in Chambers County, be in your safe place right now. Covington Way right there, the golf course, the Ebenezer Baptist Church, those are places within the community of Lynette. The tornado's not here yet, but it's on the way. Let's zoom back out, get down to the south and west and see where that debris signature is. So keeping that in mind, knowing that Lynette is right here, that's your debris signature. That's your tornado still on the ground crossing County Road 83 right now. Whenever you see that kind of by itself surrounded by the pinks, that's your tornado that's on the ground right now causing damage. Let's pull the velocity view back up, see if we've got any changes there, and I bet we do. I bet it looks even worse than it did a second ago. That's your spin, that's your rotation, that's tracking to the north and east. So Lynette Valley, this is probably going to pass just north of downtown Valley, but if you're in Lynette, well, again, we can't stress enough. You need to be in your safe place right now as this thing moves up to the north and east. Troup County down the line, you need to be in your safe place too. There you see the radar updating. Look at how quickly these storms are moving today. Moving very fast, so we're going to get updates on that radar really fast for you too. And we want to make sure that you're staying ahead of this thing just like we're trying to stay ahead of it for you. Sending out again those alerts on the WTVM weather app. Hopefully again you're getting those alerts if you have storm team alerts turned on, and that way you're able to get the best information. Here's a check of the Mobile Alert Center. I believe Mobile Alert Center, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, are they still down in Russell County? All right, we're not sure just yet, and they'll get back with me in a second, I'm sure, but that's the Mobile Alert Center again on the ground, and you've got the lightning flashing. You've got, Pittsview, Alabama, so he's down there in Russell County. And speaking of, we were tracking a big storm for you down there. Let's go back to that. So let's go back to Max 1, and we'll pull up the radar view here for you, and I want to show you what's going on.
They canceled the tornado warning in Bullitt County.
All right, perfect.
Good news, but they did issue severe thunderstorm warning for Lee County. So
Gotcha.
that one's still going on.
All right, so let's take a bit of a reset here. Let's pull this view back out, and let's also pull the radar back out. And just so, again, folks in the studio control know, I don't have a top monitor. If y'all could pull that back up, that'd be great. So right now, you've got a long line of storms in East Alabama stretching from Chambers County, right there along the county line with Troup County, stretching down into Lee County, Russell County, and back down into Bullock and Barber counties. Along this line, you have potential for spin, for rotation, potential for tornadoes. We were tracking a strong storm for you down here in Bullock County earlier, but meteorologist Dana Barker was here. He was saying, look, when this thing combines with the line, you might actually be getting that storm getting absorbed and it going away. And that seems to be what's happened. That circulation is a lot weaker down here, which is good news. But that doesn't mean it's gone away for good. The northern extent of this line in Chambers County, that's produced another circulation that is producing a tornado on the ground, causing some issues, causing some damage. So that's what we're watching for you now. The good news is this line is racing along. So if you're in Tallapoosa County, the severe weather threat is over, even though you still have some rain going on. And we can say the all clear in Randolph County, Alabama really soon. So as this moves this way, the severe weather threat will end from west to east. So it's not going to be something that lasts the entire night for a lot of folks. But if you're out ahead of this, we still want you to be in your safe place. So let's zoom back into Chambers County, and let's zoom back into that storm that's causing the issues and prompting that tornado warning, because that storm, it looks a bit messy here. We're not seeing that well-defined hook like we sometimes see, that hook echo, but we can actually show you with the velocity view where those winds are the strongest. And there again is your circulation. Now, it may not look as bad as it did a little while ago, but we still don't want to play around with this thing. We still want to make sure that we are in a good, safe place. That's for sure. So this is Mitchell Springs Church, Evening Spring Church, West Point, Lynette. Just can't stress enough. Be in your safe place now as this thing's coming through. No formal warning yet for Troup County, but this is going to be on the way. And we'll cross over into Troup County soon. I think go ahead.
I was going to say, I will say that, not like you were already saying in DK, you're seeing the circulation weakening. National Weather Service seeing the same thing as you. So there's two confirmations right there. That's good news for us, of course.
Gotcha. Yeah. And good news. This thing, again, can spin up pretty quick. It can also go away pretty quick. We hope that has been the case. But we know at least it was on the ground earlier. So that's why we're treating all of these storms with a lot of respect tonight. We know that so far there have been 32 confirmed fatalities in places to our west. So that doesn't include Alabama. It doesn't include Georgia. We don't know anything there yet, but there have been at least 32 confirmed fatalities from these storms last night, today. this afternoon. So we have to treat these storms with a lot of respect for sure as they are coming in. So let's talk another severe thunderstorm warning popping up now for Meriwether, Harris County. So that's going to be probably a severe thunderstorm warning for these areas ahead of it. Let's show you that. We'll pull up the warnings here and show you the new warning that we have. So this is going to be a severe thunderstorm warning. Yeah, that's a big one too. And look, the white outline that you see, that means a tornado is possible within that severe thunderstorm warning. And that tornado could develop quickly. So if you're in Troup County, Meriwether County, Harris, now Muskogee under that severe thunderstorm warning, Chattahoochee County under the severe thunderstorm warning, western Talbot County, western Marion County. There is a possibility that you could have a storm developing very quickly with some sort of circulation that could prompt a tornado warning very fast. It would not be a bad idea if you're in this area to go ahead and start to think about where can I get to in the next little bit? Where can I get to that's a safe place? That small room in your home, lowest floor, near the center, away from windows. You might want to treat this like a tornado warning just because we have that possibility of these storms spinning up a tornado pretty fast, as they did in Chambers County. And you can see that it went from a tornado warning to, oh gosh, there's a tornado on the ground really, really quickly. So we encourage you once again, make sure you're in a safe place out ahead of this thing, or it can at least get there really, really fast. Let's talk again about the storm itself that's prompting the warning. So they've gone to a regular tornado warning, which means it's not confirmed on the ground, but it's still being indicated by the radar. Now that is a distinction that is important for us, but as far as for folks out there, we don't want you to treat it really any different. We want you to still make sure you're in a safe place, go through all the normal rules that you normally go through, but we can at least say there's a chance or a good chance it's not on the ground right now. That doesn't mean it's going to stay that way though, so we've got to watch it carefully for you within the next little bit. Let's put the radar view back up here and let's zoom back into that one, and we'll show you the big picture first. So let's maybe keep the big picture first here. So LaGrange, you're about to see the heaviest rain move into your neck of the woods. Lynette Valley, West Point, you're getting the worst weather right now. And again, there is still that active tornado warning. It's not on the ground, but we still want you in your safe place in those communities. Auburn, the worst of the weather has already come through, it looks like. So the worst of the weather has passed through the city of Auburn. Opelika, you're still getting it right now. And that stormy weather extends down through Lee County, Smith Station, Salem, Bleecker, down into Russell County. Seal, you're about to get the absolute worst of it coming through. Pittsview, Glenville, same for you there along Highway 431. Eufaula, you're not seeing any bad weather yet, but it's on the way, and those storms extend back down into the Bullock and Barber County line. And I tell you, we're going to have to keep an eye down here for sure. As we mentioned earlier, with these storms being down on the southern extent of that line, they're going to have a bit more energy to tap into, and they're going to have a potential maybe to spin something up. But we're also watching the northern extent of this line and the fact that it could be pushing out a little bit, maybe creating more of a wind threat. And another thing to keep in mind, look at all these storms now that are developing out ahead of this on the Georgia side of the river. So you look, these storms right through here, there's rotation, there's spin within them. Now they haven't reached a level yet where that spin could get on the ground, but we're going to watch these isolated storms out ahead of everything, because sometimes those can become big problems for us too when we talk about the potential for storms to produce tornadoes. All right, so let's take you a little closer into the line here and start moving you down, and we'll just investigate this thing together and see what we're seeing as far as the circulation goes. So right now, that's the Bullock Barber County line up here into Russell County too. Lots of lightning. There's a lot of energy down here for sure to get these storms going. Let's pull the velocity up. When we say velocity, this is our tornado detection tool, and there's some suspect areas. So right there in Russell County, that is rotation. Is it on the ground? No, but I'm sure the Weather Service is monitoring that very carefully. And then you look down here on the southern extent of that, there's probably some rotation there north of Clayton, right there on the Barber and Bullock County line. That should cross Highway 82 here pretty soon near Midway. Another storm crossing near that same spot. But I tell you, this looks real suspect to me right here. So we're going to watch that carefully for you. At the very least, you've got some strong winds bowing out ahead of that. Seal is right there, by the way. So if you're in Seal, anywhere in the community of Seal, you're about to get some really strong winds pushing in. Pittsview, Glenville, those are communities on the southern extent of Russell County along Highway 431. You're going to get some strong winds pushing through too. Let's take you up to Crawford real quick. That's also an area where we've got some stronger winds likely pushing in. So Crawford there, Ladonia here. And we don't like to see that little bow structure right there. You see where that kind of just, that little hump that bends out like that. That tells us there's some strong winds. Sometimes along those areas you can get rotation too. So not seeing that yet, but want to at least watch it for you. That area of strong gusty winds is going to cross into Ladonia very soon. Phoenix City, eventually Smith Station, same story. So anywhere there, right there along the Lee, Russell, Muskogee County line, where it all comes together, you're about to get some strong gusty winds. Tornado potential, we'll say, is there, but we don't have a formal tornado warning, which is good. Now let's pull this up to the north and let's see that storm coming through Chambers County. Again, this now, we've seemed to have lost maybe a good bit of that circulation, but it looks like the worst of that weather dissipated enough, and that's why, again, you don't see that additional tornado warning that's been issued over into Troup County. Tell you what, let's take the mobile alert center if we can. We have that for us. Let's take from Walter, and you're seeing that in the left side of your screen, by the way. So Walter's in the mobile alert center. He is in Seal, and he is right there when I was showing you that little bow. In fact, Allianne, let's pull the radar back down to the south in Russell County, and I want to show people where Walter is. So Walter is right here in Russell County. In the mobile alert center. So he's looking into that storm with very, very heavy rain. You see those flashes of lightning almost constant down here. That's what we're looking at down here, all of that lightning. And he's going to be in a position to tell us what's going on down there. So once again, there's no formal tornado warning here, but there's certainly a bit of circulation going on. And yeah, very, very strong winds for sure in that area. So that's what we're looking at from the mobile alert center right now. All right, so that's what we've got for you. No active tornado warnings. In fact, I believe they probably canceled that Chambers County warning, but let's maybe look at that anyway. So let's pull the warnings back up here for you, expand the view out a bit and see. So they still have the warning out, but again, we're losing that signature in Chambers County, so I really feel as though that storm probably not going to see another warning issued for that unless something strengthens again here pretty soon. But there is that severe thunderstorm warning, a wide-ranging one for a lot of our Georgia counties now as these storms are getting set to cross the river. And once again, because we're in the environment that we're in, we've got to watch these for that potential for a spin-up tornado really at some point down the line. I'll tell you what, we're going to go over to meteorologist Allianne McCord here in a little bit. She's going to have more for you in just a bit on where we need to go to be safe, that sort of thing. There you see the cancellation of that tornado warning up here. So now there are no active tornado warnings for this particular system. But look, we're not going to go anywhere because given the potential for these storms to produce tornadoes and given the potential for them to produce a tornado so quickly, we want to make sure that we hang here with you. So we're not going to go anywhere even though we don't have active tornado warnings. We're still going to stay here with our coverage, stay here letting you know what's going on and getting you through the rest of the night as these things move on through. But you see the large area of warnings now, but no active tornado warnings. But we still have our eye on some trouble spots there along the line, and we're going to be tracking those for you as they push into the Georgia side of the river and beyond until we can get these things out of here at some point very, very early on Sunday morning, that's for sure. And by the way, most of the day Sunday is going to be okay for us. Also getting some more good news. Tornado watch has been canceled in Macon County, in Tallapoosa County. So that's good news. The watch has been canceled for those counties, meaning, again, as this line passes you by, the severe weather threat is going to draw to a close. Allianne, we'll send it back over to you.
And there, yeah, Derek, you're definitely right about that. We are starting to see that system continuing to progress. We'll pull up that radar view for you so you know exactly where this line of storms is. Of course, we have those severe thunderstorm warnings out for our counties right now as this this line of strong storms is passing over, of course, right now, the Chattahoochee River. But like we were just saying, when we look at those watches and where that tornado watch has been extended, we're expecting it to be extended into the rest of those Georgia counties for us. But like you see, you got Randolph County up there, you have Tallapoosa County, you have Macon County, Alabama. Those are the areas where that tornado watch has now been canceled for us. So that, of course, good news. That means this line of storms is continuing to push to the east, and we're going to see those warnings these watches start to be again, of course, canceled for us. So pulling up that line again, once this system does push through, I think that we're going to see Lee County getting that tornado watch taken down for them soon as this line continues to move through. I'll go ahead and put a loop on this for you and show you how this thing has been moving. It is pretty quickly moving through the area right now. You do have lots of lightning associated with the storm, but thankfully not seeing any circulation right now that we're really tracking with the National Weather Service, of course. So that tornado watch that we were tracking up in Chambers County, again, it wasn't extended. It crossed that state line. Once you cross the state line, it's no longer the Birmingham National Weather Service office that's issuing those warnings. That's going to be the Peachtree City, and they saw that warning or saw that circulation no longer there. So of course that's why we didn't continue with that tornado warning up into Troup and portions of Harris County. But again, this is a very strong line of storms right here. You can pull up the velocity and see that, of course, there. We got to pull it off this radar right there, and you can see, like we were showing you earlier, zooming in, you have that broad rotation there, of course. Not necessarily talking about a tornado, but you have those very strong winds along this line of this storm. So Ariana said it earlier, straight line winds can be as damaging, of course, as tornadoes. I even saw storm damage this morning as I was coming into work. So we are continuing to track this system. But like we were saying, as this storm line that you're seeing right here, you can really see how strong those winds are with the difference in these colors right here. That's the winds going towards the radar and away from it. So you can see how those winds are pushing right now. So we can pull up that radar view again and look at this line of storms. This is starting to cross into the Georgia half now, but we are continuing to look through. Okay, so looking down into Russell County and into Barber County, that's where you're getting some of those most intense storm lines right there. You got lots and lots of lightning just to the north of Clayton. We'll zoom in midway there, lots of flashes. We were looking up at the John Foy Alert Center sky cam earlier. It is just active with that lightning outside right now. But again, this line of storms is continuing to push east. We've already started to see some of those tornado watches being canceled for a few of those Alabama counties, but it's likely you're going to start to see that tornado watch be extended into portions of our Georgia counties that have not been under that tornado watch yet, because this line right here that again is moving through portions of Russell County, portions of Bullitt County, Barber County, very, very strong line of storms right here. And we're continuing to watch this. We have that severe thunderstorm watch or warning for the majority of these areas right here. And Tyler, if you have any more information that you want to pass along that you're seeing right now that's any different than what I'm seeing, you can go ahead and take over there on the touchscreen.
Okay. All right, thanks, Allie-Ann. And, you know, we're not really seeing anything new in terms of anything suspicious. That's the good news with all of this. But we are, however, watching several cells in Georgia, in our Georgia counties. These individual cells out ahead, I would say, we'll have to watch them carefully in Quitman, Clay, Randolph County, also maybe Stewart County. Nothing of signs right now that this is tightening up into a circulation, into a possible tornado, but it could at any time, and it would be more likely here to occur than above Highway 80. But with that said, we have really intense storms from LaGrange to Whitesville, soon Pine Mountain. You can hear the thunder in Pine Mountain. The storms are about to cross 185 in Harris County, and we've had really strong winds for the last few hours, even before these storms have moved through. And let me tell you, they are moving very quickly at about 60 miles per hour off to the northeast. So this is the main concern with at the moment, from LaGrange to West Point to Lynette. You're no longer under that tornado warning. And by the way, the National Weather Service in Peachtree City says it's unlikely at this point that in the near term the tornado watch will be extended farther east, but it's obviously something that we're going to follow, because it really depends on if we get damage reports coming in from like Lee and Russell County and Chambers County. But so far, that hasn't happened. But keep in mind, it's the middle of the night. Here we are at 1:25 Eastern time as these storms are now crossing the Chattahoochee River. We can pretty much give you almost the all clear in Lee County from seeing severe storms. Western Chambers County will be soon as well. And then you go down toward Macon County. The storms have really quieted down. Still some rough weather in Bullock County and Barber County. And I really want us to watch some of these storms that are kind of coming up through the Wiregrass north of Dothan, as they could come into effect southern Barber County and a little bit Quitman and Clay County as well. That might be kind of the hot spot if we were to have any supercells pop up that would be tornadic and producing rotation. As we're taking a look at the rotation at the moment, this is what we call the velocity. There's really no signs of circulation at the moment, but there's some really intense winds. I do want to mention that there might be some broad circulation over the South Phoenix City area, but it's not a tight circulation that's showing up, and nothing that is of imminent signs of a tornado. But as these storms cycle and at times they weaken and then strengthen again, that is something that we'll watch as it then would cross into parts of Muskogee County, southern Muskogee County. Realize that there are no severe thunderstorm warnings. I should say the severe thunderstorm warning does include, say, southern Troup, Harris County, also parts of western Talbot County, and then down to the south in Chattahoochee County. But damaging wind is the primary threat with this. So a lot of the valley, the heart of the Chattahoochee Valley, getting in on those storms. 60 to 70 mile per hour winds are the primary threat. But along this line, as this line kind of becomes more the defining feature in the region, I think that wind threat will continue as it sweeps eastward into Georgia, and then we'll have to watch any of these isolated cells out ahead of it. But for the moment, it's looking good in terms of a tornado threat, but we know that things can change, and that has changed very quickly at times over the last a couple of hours. So that is why we have our whole team here monitoring trends on the radar. Severe thunderstorm warning. If you're in Columbus, that continues for another 30 minutes. At any time, there could be a brief tornado that spins up. But again, the primary main concern is wind. We go up into Troup County. We certainly have our share of rain falling, LaGrange, all the way down into the southern part of the county, right over the Kia plant. We have those strong storms. There may be a bit of hail included in this, but no big hail cores at the moment. Phoenix City is coming down, the rain. We have the north side of Columbus, especially up toward Green Island Hills, certainly getting its share of heavy downpours, wicked lightning, and a very gusty wind. So keep in mind the strongest winds are right out ahead of the heaviest rain. So as this rain sweeps through the next probably 5 or 10 minutes, Columbus, you're about to get the strongest winds of the night that you've had with this storm as it continues to slide off to the north and the east as a whole. And we look back toward much of Lee County. It's much quieter than it was just an hour ago. We still have some embedded downpours, but essentially once you get on the other side of this line, like pretty soon we'll probably be starting to give a lot of the all clear for our East Alabama communities, at least in Lee and Chambers County. We still have a ways to go for Georgia. Again, high winds are a big concern. If you're under a severe thunderstorm warning or any kind of warning, should a tornado warning pop up, you want to treat these very seriously. I would treat all warnings, whether it be severe thunderstorm or tornado, as the same because of the high wind potential and the possibility that a brief tornado could spin up at any time. Again, we're going to watch some of these cells along 280 in Georgia, say Webster County, back into Stewart County, 27 in Lumpkin, some heavy rain, and then down into northern Randolph County as well. But the main kind of event, if you will, through our area is going through western Barber County, up through the heart of Russell County along 431. It's not a good time to go out and about for sure. You want to kind of stay in your safe place as these high winds come through, and obviously heavy rain We have our mobile alert center that is certainly on the ground as well. That Walter's been traveling through Russell County and certainly keeping an eye on things there. There's been a lot of lightning, and obviously it's not an ideal time to be on the roads, but he's done this many times before and has a lot of experience with keeping it safe and not necessarily chasing the action, but staying a safe distance from the action while watching the radar trends. He really understands how to read the radar, and he's listening to our broadcast as well. But we go up through the north, back to the north on our radar view here at the touchscreen. We could see some of the showers and thunderstorms. These are severe storms, so don't discount that, and they're loud storms. Remember, lightning has nothing to do with how severe a storm. It's really the wind and the hail that makes this a problem. Pine Mountain, the storms are kind of coming your way, and pretty soon it's going to be in places like Ellerslie, Waverly Hall, down through, say, North Columbus and Midland. Midtown Columbus, in the next 5 minutes or so, you're going to start to get in on some of the strongest storms, the heaviest rain. Quick look at velocity right now as we examine the Doppler radar winds, and we're just not really seeing any tight circulations at the moment. And that's a good sign in terms of the tornado threat. So, you know, we're going to keep an eye on that, and we're certainly going to be following that as it moves toward the east. In just a couple minutes, we'll go to Chief Meteorologist Derek Kincaid, and he's going to help us dissect the radar again. But at the moment, this is a promising sign in terms of the tornado threat for our region. But the 185 corridor through the heart of Muskogee and Harris County, we have some of the strongest storms right now extending into Troup County. But right now, it's much better in places like Lafayette, Lynette, and Valley than it was about 20 minutes ago. We go through the southeastern corner of Lee County, still noisy, still loud in Smith Station, but things will get better there in about 5 minutes. In the southern part of Russell County, we still have that severe thunderstorm. Again, we're going to watch some of these cells out ahead of it. It seems that the greatest tornado risk over the next little bit would be with some of these cells south of Columbus. So that's certainly something that we'll keep an eye on, but don't underestimate that high wind threat, Derek.
Yeah, Tyler, that's right. And look, what we'll do now, if you don't mind, let's take that John Foy Alert Center Skycam. This is coming to you from up at Callaway Resort and Gardens, I believe. Oh, no, now we're at Uptown Columbus. Let's take this. The Uptown Columbus John Foy Alert Center Skycam, and it is starting to come down in the Fountain City. The lightning is almost constant there. Once again, nighttime view, tough to see a lot on there for you, but you can see that heavy rain, and you can see those flashes of lightning. We are getting it here at the station. It looks like the heaviest rain has just began. In fact, we had just about 1/10 of an inch of rain just within the last minute or two. So this is a very heavy rain being dumped on us right now in Midtown. Uptown, same story there. You see the flashes of lightning. We are hearing those rumbles of thunder. So this could be something that if you've been asleep here in Columbus, been asleep here in the Fountain City, in Phoenix City, the thunder, the lightning waking you up now, and you might be wondering what's going on. Well, we have that tornado risk that we're still watching for you, but a severe thunderstorm warning in place for many of our counties right now. And it's along that line of storms that we're watching for potential for a tornado. Right now, we're looking at Muskogee County. We're looking at winds. We're not looking at the radar. So, yeah, we know it's raining. That's not the main threat here. The threats, are we getting strong winds? Are we getting that potential spin up of a tornado? And again, the circulation that we're noting along the line is what we would consider broad circulation. It's not something that's super concerning to us at the moment, but we have seen these storms today spin up very quickly. We have had confirmed tornadoes in Pike County, Alabama, Bullitt County, Alabama, Tallapoosa County, Chambers County. They have all had confirmed tornadoes a little earlier. So we know that these storms have the potential to spin up a tornado very quickly. So let's, again, we'll take this view, we'll pull it out a little bit, and I do want to shift it down to the south and show you what's going on down in Barber County, because while we do have quiet weather, at least in terms of tornado potential, there's a storm coming into southern Barber County that we've got to really watch for you. One of those that Tyler was talking about, a bit out of the mainstream, a little out by itself, and that's what we've got to watch for you carefully here south of Clio, that potential for a storm that could spin something up and start moving off to the north and east. If that was the case, that could impact Eufaula down the line. Our rain gauge here at the station, by the way, 1/3 of an inch of rain. So I say we were at 1/10 of an inch a second ago. This is really, really heavy rain, just downpours right now. So let's pull the radar view back up, and we'll pull the view out. I want to give everyone that big picture point of view. And we're also going to start to talk about some folks that are all clear from this thing. So Randolph County, severe weather threat for you is over. Randolph County, Alabama, that is. Tallapoosa County, the rain has ended. The severe weather threat for you is over. Chambers County, the severe weather threat has ended. For a lot of Lee County, it's over, but once again, if you're looking, say, on the far eastern side of the county out toward Lake Harding, out toward the Harris County line, we're still seeing some rough weather. Hang on a little bit longer. That weather threat will be over for you soon. Macon County, your severe weather threat is over. Now, if you're out ahead of all this, you still have some concern. You still have to deal with the wind, the rain, the potential for some tornadoes here too along this very intense line of storms. And once again, if you're just waking up with us, you're hearing those rumbles of thunder, seeing those flashes of lightning. You've had a really gusty day today in general. The winds have been pretty strong, but now you've got the rain and storms. This is the main event coming through that we've been telling you about. The good news, as we have mentioned many times, this was never going to be as significant as it was out west of here in parts of Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas. This was never going to be at that level, but this still did carry that tornado potential into the Chattahoochee Valley. We've had confirmed tornadoes tonight in East Alabama, and we're going to have to still watch this carefully for you. The environment for tornadoes, a bit more prime south of Columbus where there's more energy down here, but we can't say again the threat's over up here. We still have strong winds, and that's always one of these threats with these particular storm systems as they come in. Let's go to the line here. Let's start with Troup and Meriwether counties, then we'll just work our way south. We'll work our way down. So we'll start in Troup and Meriwether counties. We'll zoom in and we'll just look at the rain right now. So the heaviest rain lined up along Interstate 185 in Troup County. So Hogansville up here, LaGrange right here, there's 185, and then there's 85 through the county. So right there where they come together, heavy rain, gusty winds, lots of lightning, lots of thunder, and there is damaging wind potential here too. We had reports of trees down off Shug Jordan Parkway in Lee County. There were some trees down reported elsewhere into East Alabama. Camp Aska in Tallapoosa County had trees down and even some minor damage there. So again, that's what can happen tonight. We're not going to have a ton of real-time reports coming to you because it's the middle of the night and you can't see anything outside, and a lot of folks are going to be asleep, but we're getting these reports trickling in now as these storms pass through. So there is certainly damaging wind potential here in Troup County, and that's crossing over to Pine Mountain, to Manchester, to Warm Springs, Wild Animal Safari, Callaway Resort and Gardens. A heads up again for those strong winds. Woodbury, Shiloh, wind on the way here very, very soon for you. Once again, you're getting some of the lightning showing up, very heavy rain showing up. We've gone over a ½ inch of rain, almost approaching 3/4 of an inch of rain here at the television station just within a few minutes time because of how heavy and how intense these storms are. Now, that's the northern part of this line. Let's go a little further south. We'll move down into Harris County, right there along Highway 27. If you're in Columbus, you take 27 up to Hamilton and you go through Catala there, and then you get into the northern part of the county. That's a stretch right now that is just really, really stormy, really, really windy, and lots of lightning showing up. Once again, there is a severe thunderstorm warning, so that tells us there's damaging wind potential. And I think the damaging wind potential might be a little higher in the Hamilton area, where that's maybe trying to push outward a little bit. But if you live in Ellerslie, if you live in Waverly Hall, if you live down toward Midland and Eupatoy, a heads up for you guys, because you're not in this yet, but you will be soon. Talbotton, same story. Anywhere in Talbot County, you're out ahead of this. No severe weather yet, but it is on the way. Let's pull you back down into Muskogee County. We just had probably the heaviest rain coming through Midtown and parts of Uptown. And where you see the shades of red, that's those intense pockets of rain. The lightning continues to crack down, and you know you're going to probably lose power in some cases here with the lightning, with the wind threat, with the trees and limbs and things like that coming down. So anywhere in Muskogee County, a heads up for you. Severe thunderstorm warning, once again, damaging wind potential, but not a formal tornado warning as of right now. looks like our mobile alert center is in Columbus right now. So we can take that for you. Let's show you that. Columbus right now, this is on Victory Drive, and that's the mobile alert center. So that's what we're looking at here on the south side of town. You can look at the heavy rain, the wind, the lightning continues there. So that is a live look outside. Look at the sheets of rain there blowing across the street. And one thing that we like to see is the streets are mainly clear, and probably going to be the case anyway this time of night, but once again we like to see the streets clear. Walter's saying, where should we go next? Where do we go next? Well, look, the worst of the weather is passing through Columbus right now, but as we get down to the south, there's still, I think, potential for Eufaula, for some of those southern areas, to see some rough weather coming through. So that's certainly a possibility. That would probably be the highest tornado risk within the next little bit. But always good to give you that live perspective, to take you outside and seeing the mobile alert center on the road there in the Fountain City, showing you what's going on. Lots of places still have power, it looks like. That's great news, but you know, you get storms like this with the lightning threat, with the wind threat, you can lose power from time to time. So that's a live view outside for now. Let's go back over to the radar view. We'll show you the radar again here in the Fountain City. Plenty of heavy rain, plenty of lightning, plenty of thunder, booming thunder out there. And there are pockets here and there you see down here in South Columbus where you got some pockets of that really intense rain right there on 185. That's probably about the St. Mary's Road exit right there, exit 3. And that extends back down toward Fort Benning. Look at all the lightning here. And that goes back down Highway 431 through Russell County, Seal, Pittsview, Glenville. What you got?
Tornado warning for Barber.
Tornado warning for Barber. So that's probably for... Yeah, that's going to be for that storm down to the south. So, back, all right.
Road 146.
Trees down in Beauregard. So that was from, again, a little earlier today when that storm pushed through. So here's the new tornado warning. So here's where we're going to be with you for a little while longer again for Barber County. This is that storm I showed you just a second ago that was coming out of Dale County, Alabama. So this warning does include the city of Eufaula. It includes the outskirts of Clayton, the outskirts of Clio here, but that's a new tornado warning going out till 1:30 Central Time, so 2:30 Eastern Time for Barber County. So that looks like, yep, just coming through now. For also parts of, wait, this is a new one. Oh no, this is a tornado watch canceled, sorry. So, all right, let's talk about this warning itself. Let's pull up the radar view first, and then we'll look at the velocity. So radar view showing us the rain, and I can tell you right now, right back here, that's your hook. This is a individual storm that is out ahead of this big, long, messy line of storms out here. So those are the ones we watch for you. There's more energy down here to get tornadoes going, and that's your circulation. And look at all that lightning showing up right there. So that's where we're looking at some intense rain, some lightning, some thunder, but there's also spin showing up. And a lot of times, sometimes when you have a storm like this and it interacts with a little blob of rain out ahead of it, that'll help to increase that spin from time to time. Let's pull the velocity view back up here for you so we can see what the winds are looking like. And this is, we've got a really good perspective with this, by the way, with the radar down to the south, looking up to the north, so we can really get a good view of that. So there's your circulation there. The green, the winds that are blowing toward the radar. The reds, the oranges there, the winds that are blowing away from the radar. And when you see them right next to each other, that's your circulation, that's your spin that we've got an eye on. So if you're in Barber County, if you're in Clayton, this is going to miss you barely. But if you're in Eufaula, this is going to have potential to impact you here pretty soon, moving off to the north and east. Baker Hill, this is probably going to move to the north of you. But if you're in the warned area, if you got the alert on your app, on the weather radio, just know that this has the potential to impact you. And once again, we could see this storm quickly developing, and we could see this storm maybe quickly producing a tornado. So the warning is out now. You've got a little bit of time to get to that safe place out ahead of it, but not much time. And we can give you some of those times of arrival here for you. The city of Eufaula, that's coming up in about 20 minutes or so. 23 minutes or so, heads up for you. And you can see some of the other communities out ahead of this. So this is a new tornado warning, Barber County. There's severe thunderstorm warnings on the northern side of this line, but we're here concentrating on the tornado side of things because there's more potential here for some wind damage and that sort of thing. So this is Barber County again. Let's pull the track here off And let's go back to a closer in view, street level type view here of the tornado warning part itself. So that's down here near Lime Sink in Barber County. These are communities out ahead of that. And we want to just call out a few things, call out a few roads. And if you hear your name called out, you hear your road, your street, your neighborhood, a church nearby, that means you're in the path of this tornado. Cotton Hill, County Road 79 South that runs through the town of Gano there in Barber County. Osco, heads up for you. Anywhere again near Tullis up toward Hoboken, that's going to be a really small intersection before you get down into Eufaula. And eventually again, Eufaula itself. We want you to be in a safe place now before this thing comes through. Just because, again, there's potential that this could develop a tornado pretty quickly. Even though we have the warning, it's not confirmed, it's not on the ground that we know of, but we'll start investigating this with our tools and see if that's going to be the case. But if you're in Barber County and under that warning, go ahead, just be in your safe spot. Don't mess around with this thing. We can see these things spin up pretty quickly, develop pretty quickly. So there's the warning itself that goes out for a little while longer. Now to the north, we still have that severe thunderstorm warning in place, and that's all along the river. And now on the Georgia side of the river, this has been a reissue of that severe thunderstorm warning. And they're still saying, look, the tornado is possible here too. We could get a spin up in here. I think the risk for a tornado is a little bit higher the farther south that you go, where there's a bit more energy to get these storms going, to get them cranked up. And that's why I think we're looking at that tornado potential being higher down here to our south. We are almost at 1 inch of rain, by the way, here at the station. So these things dumping rain in a really big way. That could increase the flooding concern in just a few spots, but the flooding is not our main concern. It never was. Today it was all about the tornado risk, all about the wind risk. And we certainly have that still here for you tonight. So here are the warnings in place. Severe thunderstorm warnings for Meriwether, Harris, Talbot, Muskogee, Chattahoochee, Western Marion. Another severe thunderstorm warning for Russell and northern Barber. And then you've got the tornado warning for a smaller circulation in Barber County that's moving up toward the city of Eufaula. And look down here, you got another severe thunderstorm warning. This just out of the coverage area. That includes Enterprise, Alabama. That is for a storm that's going to be moving in the same direction that we're going to have to watch for potential tornadic circulation as well. So let's pull the radar back up here, and then let's pull the debris detector on here and just see if we have a little bit showing up.
There's been a little bit off and on there, but that's
okay.
storm in Barber County.
Gotcha. So yeah, so what we're looking at, and maybe tell you what, flash the velocity view back up here for me too, just real fast, and let's see if it matches up. So yeah, so it looks like right down here, there was a little bit of debris showing up. So there's potential debris showing up with this. So we want to treat this pretty seriously, as we do anyway. I mean, we don't want to treat any tornado warning like it's no big deal, but some more so than others, we can give you more information about. So as our tools here, as our technology increases, we can investigate these storms in a greater way and give you some more information. So there's the circulation now. Maybe some debris that was detected with this thing back here. In fact, we'll go ahead and pull that back up here for you, Ariana. Pull up that debris detector and let's see. And like Tyler said, kind of on and off with this, maybe a little bit. So going back just a couple minutes there just to see. And maybe again right there. But either way, whether there is or isn't, we still want you to be in a safe place. And that includes communities north of Baker Hill, west of Eufaula, and even in the city of Eufaula itself. Go ahead and be in a safe spot. It's spring break season. This is a really well-traveled road for a lot of folks, not just in our area, but to get down to the beach. So maybe some folks are staying in Eufaula for the night. I don't know. But just know that if you're in the city and we're calling out your name, you need to be in a safe spot. There's your John Foy Alert Center Skycam in Eufaula. We'll take that for you now. You can see the lightning flashing. The worst of the weather hasn't really made it to the town of Eufaula yet, but it's on the way. So we've got the heavy rain just starting to push in, but you can see that lightning just almost constant there. And that's been the case all night tonight in many of these places where you've had these storms and you've had that lightning just constantly going off in the night sky there. So no, again, formal tornado on the ground kind of thing, but we're watching for you. We're investigating this for you. We'll, of course, keep an eye down the line. Pull the radar back up. Let's see if there's any sort of change here to the storm, if we can still see that hook. So there's the velocity, and there's again the hook that we often talk about. Now, when we look at the radar, remember this is detecting what's falling out of the sky. Mainly rain in this case, right? So we can see this little hook right here in some of these storms. So that's a sign that you have winds feeding the storm this way, winds blowing on the backside of the storm that way, and that's your circulation. And then we look at the velocity. We can see the raindrops moving around. And then we look at the debris. We can see if there's any tornadic debris being lofted up. So there's lots of different ways to confirm what we're looking at. Right now, there's really just two things telling us this storm is spinning. We still have to figure out if is that going to get down on the ground at some point, and the possibility is certainly there. So between Clayton and Baker Hill, that's where the worst of this weather is going to go. And look, this might pass just north of downtown Eufaula, but I don't want to tell you that with certainty right now based on what we're seeing. I still want you in your safe place right here. And anywhere north of Eufaula there along Highway 431, I still want you in your safe place too. So really, on either side of the city, being a safe spot here. Lake Point Resort, the state park up here, the city of Eufaula itself. Again, just be in that safe place for a little bit longer. The storm hadn't made it to you yet, but it's on the way. And I don't like the looks of it. We don't like these storms out by themselves. Again, there's just a little higher tornado potential sometimes with storms like this. So radar view coming through here at updating for us. There's again the circulation, that hook echo. And we're going to track that up here to the north and to the northeast, really right into the city of Eufaula here pretty soon. Now, out ahead of this, you've got Quitman County, Georgia. There's the town of Georgetown right across the river from Eufaula. Morris is here for you too, and then up here is Stewart County. So eventually, you might have a warning coming up there for you, but we're not there yet. But this is our storm of concern for right now at least. Now let's pull the view back up to the north and let's get just a look at some of those severe storms passing across the Georgia side of the river. We're getting some bowing showing up maybe with that one in Muskogee County. So some wind damage, trees down, that sort of thing. That's certainly possible, I think, along that area. Coming through Harris County, there's Waverly Hall, there's Ellerslie, there's Midland, there's Upatoy. This is mostly Fort Benning's property in Muskogee County, but that's an area that's really, really gusty right now. Heavy rain, lots and lots of lightning. That's pushing off toward Talbotton, toward Geneva, toward Box Springs. So just a heads up for you here. In fact, let's pull that velocity view up. I don't like to see little kinks in the line like that. Sometimes you got to look. There was our radar view out of Americas, I think, showing up there. But yeah, there could be some circulation. Nothing that's jumping out saying tornado to us right now, but we certainly have to watch that carefully. At the very least, I think you've got some really strong winds that have come through Midland and heading out toward Upatoy and heading along Highway 80 as you head out into Talbot County. So just a heads up for you, Geneva, Box Springs, you guys are seeing some rough weather right now. More bit of good news here for you. Tornado watch canceled for Lee County and for Chambers County. So we'll pull that up here. Chambers County, Lee County, Tallapoosa, Macon, Randolph. Tornado watch has been canceled. So as this line passes you by, the tornado risk is over. The severe weather risk is over. That risk is almost over in Muskogee County based on what we were seeing on the radar view. But it's still in progress south of town where the line kind of bends back down this way, and then we've got to worry about all this stuff out ahead of it. So we're still monitoring that severe weather risk, and we're drawing the line on here for you. Once again, west of that line, your risk is over. The threat is over. If you're east of that line, we're still watching. We're still alert tonight to what's going on. But a bit of good news, at least, that we can start clearing those counties for you as this line passes on by. I tell you what, we're going to go back over to the desk here pretty soon, and we're going to get some more information there. But for now, good news in one case, bad news in another. We still have a tornado warning to track for you down in Barber County. I tell you what, look at that lightning showing up too. So this storm that we've been watching for you down toward Eufaula has a lot of lightning with it. Sometimes these tornado storms, these tornado warning storms, they'll dump a lot of lightning before or after they put down a tornado. So this is what we've got to watch for you. More than 200 lightning strikes in the last half hour with this one. So we're watching this carefully for you. It's approaching the city of Eufaula now, and as we've been saying, you need to get to a safe place now and be there. We'll see what the update's going to be if they want to extend that warning. If they do, that could include parts of Quitman County, could include parts of Stewart County down the line. So a heads up for you there. We'll send it back to Alley-Ann. Oh, unmute your mic, Alley-Ann.
My bad. There we go. The National Weather Service has, of course, continued the tornado watch for Bullock, Macon, or Bullock and Russell and Barber County, Alabama, and that, of course, because we are continuing to watch that right there. That's our tornado warning that we are pointing out. Derek's been on the wall pointing out there for you. And of course, you're seeing that bowing right there in that system along that line where those winds are really strong out ahead of it. Got that little bit of circulation there, and of course, you got lots and lots of lightning. We were looking at that John Foy Alert Center sky cam earlier. We were looking over Eufaula. You're just seeing the lightning lighting up the sky right now. And we did just show you how many strikes there were, but we will go ahead and pull up the velocity again, kind of zoom in and see where that rotation is there. We haven't really got any more information in from the National Weather Service for that rotation we have been pointing out, of course. But there it is right there on the velocity view. But let's see if there was, did you see anything else, Tyler?
No debris recently.
So not on the ground, but definitely got rotation up top is what we're seeing basically.
Right approaching Highway 30,
Yeah.
so between Eufaula and Clayton.
So again, this area, this kind of line right here, I can draw that out for us right here. Let me grab that tool. You're seeing that rotation. Oh, never mind. But of course, like we were saying, between Clayton and Eufaula, that's where you're seeing that rotation. Not seeing, of course, that debris on the ground or on the debris detector. So that doesn't mean the rotation's necessarily on the ground, but we still want everybody in this warning box right here. I'm going to pull that up and we'll zoom in to that street level view. Everybody in this warning box, you got Gano, you have Cotton Hill, Eufaula, St. Emmanuel Church. We all want you in your safe spaces, and you, of course, you know where your safe space is. That's that most interior room of your home, away from windows, on the lowest floor, lowest level, typically your closets, your bathrooms. Again, that's your safe space. That's where you want to be if you are in, again, this red box area. That's the tornado warning. This is the area you have to seek shelter right now. So again, Lime Seat, Cotton Hill, Osco, Eufaula, you want to be in your safe space right now. Grab some cushions off the couch, pillows. That's something to make your safe space a bit more comfortable. But of course, that also adds protection to you if this is, again, a tornado on the ground. But like we were saying, not seeing any debris, we're just seeing that rotation on this velocity view right now. So it's good that we're not seeing that debris. That means that the rotation is really in the atmosphere, not quite on the ground, but we are continuing. Anybody in that region, of course, between Clayton to Eufaula, to get into your safe space. Cotton Hill, Lime Seat, that's what we were saying. That's where we want you to be in your safe space. It's approaching that line. Again, we're looking at the County Road 79 right now. That's where that rotation is the strongest, and this is moving towards the northeast. So like I was saying, when you look at that warning box and how the system is traveling, that's the area it is approaching. It looks like they just did continue that warning there in Barber County. Let's read the details about it. So this tornado warning remains in effect for Barber County, northeastern portions. This is a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado, and it looked like it was over Osco. This is moving towards the northeast. I'm trying to find this at 65 miles per hour. So we can go ahead and pull up that velocity view again for you and kind of track that for you. Put a track on it and put it out ahead. So if you're near Cedar Hill Church, you need to get into your safe space. We want you in your safe space in Lugo, Rocky Mountain Church, Martin Zion Church area. You want to be in your safe spaces at this moment. Of course, not seeing that debris on the ground or on our detection right now, but that means this rotation in the atmosphere. So still has the potential to reach the ground. Tyler, do you have anything you want to add to this as you're looking at it over there on the wall?
Yeah, we're still seeing that persistent, kind of a somewhat persistent rotation showing up in Barber County as I turn on the radar from Fort Novacell. But, you know, basically we're looking at some pretty gusty winds at the very least. That circulation that we're examining is right here on the west side of Eufaula. So if you are just west of Eufaula along Highway 30, you are in the kind of thick of it now. In fact, I'll zoom in just a little bit more, and as I look at a new severe thunderstorm warning that's come in farther to the north, but we basically have pretty strong winds here on the order of, as I kind of query this, we'll see, looks like the lights just went out here, but maybe we can get them back on. 78 miles per hour I'm seeing, maybe even some winds up to 80 to 90 miles per hour in that circulation, and then you have winds going the other way at a little bit too. So, you know, if there's something on the ground, it's getting a little stronger at the moment there, just west of just west of Eufaula, and so I'm going to take that tool off so you can get a better look. I also want to keep an eye on a little farther south, just outside of that warning area. There's another little hook, little C shape that's kind of taking shape. By the way, you're looking at our John Foy Alert Center Skycam, and Eufaula right now with the rain that's certainly been coming down there, and the lightning as well. But some of the roughest weather looks to be just outside of the city. But here's our velocity back toward the west of White Oak, outside technically of the warning, but I just want to keep an eye on that area kind of south of Clayton, east of Clio, as I'm just examining some of the winds there. Not too strong of a circulation at that point, but it's definitely showing signs, some suspicious signs there. Notice again the core of east central Barber County coming in close to Eufaula. We're going to be keeping an eye on that, so as we zoom in or take a look at the radar loop, we can kind of see over the past, say, 30 minutes or so, 30 to 45 minutes, a storm that came out of Henry County and has been sliding to the northeast. I'm going to put a track on this cell. I think the worst of it is going to miss Eufaula, like we've been kind of saying here, but assuming it continues on this trajectory, moving at about 65 miles per hour, it's going to affect some of these communities. So as you go up toward Wailani, this is at in about 10 minutes, so 1:12 Eastern time. As you go up toward Coffinton maybe, and then up toward Florence, which is right on the Stewart County line there. Florence Marina, 218 or so. So we'll be keeping a close eye on that. So again, this would be kind of moving right across Highway 82 in a little bit. It's not as tight of a circulation for sure. I'm switching over to the velocity. Well, it's not as tight circulation on the radar view, on the normal radar view, but I'm still picking up very strong winds coming right into the heart of Eufaula. So you'll notice that some of these winds, and where you have some of the whites, those are 70 to 80 mile per hour winds. So right in here is where we have this circulation just to the west of Eufaula, the Eufaula area proper. So that again is going to be likely sliding up to the north and the east, at least with this possible tornado that has been circulating every now and again. So again, that's all something that we're watching right here on the fly. As we go farther to the north, I'm going to turn back the normal radar mode on. We still have a lot of heavy rain, Fort Mitchell, Holy Trinity, go through Columbus as well. I'll switch over to the Montgomery radar to get a better angle of this. We still have some very heavy rain over the heart of Columbus, northern Muskogee County up toward Flat Rock Park, and then extending into Now, Talbot County, we have heavy rain. You have a severe thunderstorm warning that also continues. This is one that's come out in the last few minutes. It expires at 2:45. It includes southeastern Meriwether County for the Warm Springs and Manchester area, all the way through Talbot County, Marion County as well. So basically, by the end of this event, a lot of us at some point are going to be dealing with the severe thunderstorm warnings at the very least. Still, again, holding on to that tornado warning here in eastern Barber County, but we want to treat these warnings seriously. We want to make sure that we go to the lowest level of our home, away from windows. At this point, you don't want to be going out and about trying to get to somewhere safer because you just have to make the most of what you have. And most of us have that interior room on the bottom floor away from windows, and we don't have any other tornado warnings to speak of. Let me just put a loop on this over the past 45 to 60 minutes. You notice how it's the lines kind of builded a little bit as we went through Lee County and Russell County, but basically we can give the all clear for areas west of this line. So just about all of Lee County except for Smith Station, you are in the clear from seeing severe weather, even though rain may continue. LaGrange, you're clear. Whitesville, the western half of Harris County, all of Chambers County, all of Randolph County, Alabama, but all of Barber County still kind of in the thick of things. And if you're to the right of this line, still we have to watch for our severe weather threat for the next little bit. Let me just check on this area here in Barber County, switching the radar view to Fort Novacell, and so we can get a clear depiction of it. There's definitely some kinks in the line here still that we're going to be watching, and when you have those kinks in the line, those bowing segments, you have some strong winds, but where you have those little C shapes, those might be some bands of rotation. The good news that I'm seeing as we go farther to the east and examining some of the storms in our southern counties in Georgia, basically Randolph County, even though we're not looking at an imminent threat, Clay County as well. We'll have to watch some of these cells coming out of Dale and Henry County as they move toward the north and east. Those might be showing some signs a little bit later on of strengthening, but the good news is for now we're just seeing some scattered showers here, places like Cuthbert down to Bluffton and Fort Gaines. As we look up closer into Meriwether County, I just want to zoom into this area here a little bit as you go up through Shiloh and into the, this is actually Talbot County, excuse me, Talbot County, Talbotton seeing still that heavy rain, and we have the 60 to 70 mile per hour wind potential with the storms as they move through. So let me just kind of reset here, give you the bigger picture. And again, severe thunderstorm warning for a lot of our Georgia counties now as the storms push from Columbus toward Buena Vista in a little bit, and eventually now over Talbotton. Eufaula still has that tornado warning, still a pretty good clear signature there. But again, we're starting to see some pretty good improvements in terms of a lot of East Alabama, if you're west of 431 in Russell, Lee County, and then up toward Chambers County as well. I do want to point out there have been some power outages. The last check, I looked at Lee County here, and they had about 1,600 power outages, now 1,500 power outages. Randolph County, Alabama has quite a few there. They have 2,000 power outages. And then we see in Harris County, Troup County, sorry, this is Harris County, 1,300 power outages. Muskogee County now has some as well, with almost 3,000 power outages being reported. So this makes sense given the line of severe storms that has trekked through the region. I'm going to just put a quick loop on this, and then we'll get ready and send things back over to Chief Meteorologist Derek Kincaid. We have the whole team here tonight that has been watching the storm system moving through. Thankfully, we haven't gotten too many reports of damage. I know there were some reports of trees down in the Lee County area. We have flooding in Hurtsboro, according to the emergency manager there, David Martin, on Owen Street at North Railroad Street. Reports of power lines and trees down on Farmville Road in Auburn. So yes, some sporadic tree damage and power lines down. And that makes sense given the 60-mile-per-hour winds that have been coming through here. Still have that tornado warning that continues for the city of Eufaula and eastern Barber County. That goes in effect for another 20 minutes. But we're going to watch then as the Peachtree City National Weather Service office would then determine if we need further warnings upstream. Derek.
Tyler, thanks. Yeah, and we've been watching, of course, the tornado potential very carefully for you. That warning, as we're talking about, for Barber County now out for about another 20 minutes or so. However, the good news is that's going to be crossing out of Barber County probably before that warning ends up expiring. So the warning itself, it's going to cross out of the county right where 165, Alabama Highway 165 intersects with 431. So that's where this storm is going to move out of Barber County. Let's go to the north. I want to show you another warning that's popped up, a flash flood warning for Muskogee County. We were telling you about those rainfall rates that we were getting, and boy, enough to cause some flooding concerns through Harris County, Muskogee County, looking at Chattahoochee County, Talbot County too. So that's a new flash flood warning. We're almost at 2 inches of rain at the station just within the last half hour to an hour or so. So that's a lot of rain, short period of time. So a flash flood warning now out for Columbus, for Harris County. If you have any travel plans for whatever reason overnight tonight, be sure you're watching out. Don't drive over flooded roads. Don't drive over water if you can't see the road below. Always a bad deal when it comes to flooding. So the big warning that you see right here is still that severe thunderstorm warning. The outline here in white tells us there's tornado potential. So a spin-up tornado, certainly possible. With this, the higher threat for a tornado, I still believe, is going to be down to our south, where those ingredients are coming together a little bit more for tornadoes as we thought they might. And that's, again, why you have the tornado warning that's popped up down here for Barber County for another 20 minutes or so as we continue to hear the thunder rumble around here. Again, getting flashes of power at the television station, power out, as Tyler's been telling you about in some other places around here too. So that's the setup right now across the Chattahoochee Valley. Let's continue to watch the tornado threat, though, because that's number one on our mind. We'll go back down into Barber County. We'll put the radar view back up for you and maybe give you some tracks here and show you what has been going on, show you what's out ahead of this thing and what city this is going to impact next. Now, the good news is that the storm itself seems to have been absorbed back into this long line of storms. So again, sometimes, yeah, you have some tornado potential when that happens, but eventually it transitions more to just a wind threat. And make no mistake, the winds here are very strong. We're picking up winds about 2,000, 3,000 feet off the ground, upwards of 70 miles per hour. And it doesn't take a lot of momentum from the rain to push that wind down to the ground and cause some problems there. So Wheaton Field, that's the airport here. As you go down 431, lots of folks, again, take that road down to the beach. You're familiar with that stretch of road heading into Eufaula. That's where the circulation is crossing over as we speak. Let's pull the velocity view. New tornado for Russell. Okay, let's pull the warnings back up here for you then in that case, because I'm not sure if that's for this storm or a different one. Well, I guess it's the same one.
I think it just clipped.
And that's
Clips
just,
Russell.
yeah, it clips Russell right there.
We're pointing out some rotation near Sanford Hill in Barber County.
Okay.
So south of Eufaula.
Gotcha. So this is a continuation from the Peachtree City National Weather Service office for a tornado warning that's coming out of Barber County, and that's clipping Russell County. Again, if you're in Russell County, if you're in Phoenix City, if you're in Pittsview, Glenville, Seal, Hurtsboro, Crawford, Ladonia, this does not involve you at all. But your weather radio may go off. Remember, that's what weather radios do. They go off for the county, and because that one little section of Barber County right there is under this warning, your weather radio may be going off. So again, you wake up, you turn that on, you hear tornado warning Russell County, you turn us on, you'll see this is not a huge deal for most of the county except for right there. And then that's going to extend over into Stewart County and Chattahoochee County, including the city of Casita. If you're in Stewart County north of Lumpkin, you're not involved in this, but north of Lumpkin along Highway 27, you are. So that's for the same storm that's lifting out of Barber County. We want you to be aware as that crosses the river, you're looking at that threat continuing to the Georgia side of the river, and tornado warnings now, Chattahoochee and Stewart counties. Let's pull the radar view back up here for us. And let's look at that storm again. And let's go ahead and pull the velocity up, because that way we'll be able to see exactly where the circulation is. And there it is, right there. What we may have to do is turn that America's radar off. Ariana might have to do that temporarily until that gets within range, just so it doesn't flash back and forth. But there's your circulation. These are strong winds, regardless of a tornado on the ground or not. Really strong winds here. And that's crossing, or it just has crossed 431, probably very near Wheaton Field. And that's right at the intersection of Russell County, Stewart County, and Barber County. So right where all those counties come together, that's where this storm is going to cross over. So Omaha and Florence, those are communities right along the Chattahoochee River in Stewart County. This is probably going to go south of you, but you're in that warning. We want you in your safe place. That's going to track up in this direction. And let's go ahead and put a track on that for us. So there's your circulation here, and we'll put a tracker to the north and east all the way up to Casita and give you an idea of times of arrival, because again, you want to know where this thing is going. It's very, very important to know what's happening now, but this is what is about to happen, or what's going to happen. 2:40 Eastern time, that's about 35 minutes or so. That's going to be, 25 minutes or so. That's going to be a heads up for the city of Casita. And you can see Louisville there, 2:32. Florence, we mentioned you just a second ago, 2:19, about 4 minutes or so from now. And these storms moving pretty fast. So that's the circulation, once again, coming out of Barber County and now moving up into Stewart County and Chattahoochee County. So Casita, you've got time to get to your safe place before this rolls in. We encourage you to do that now. You don't wait around for these things, but you've got some time to get to your safe place now. Areas on Fort Benning in Chattahoochee County. However, you're getting your alerts. Maybe you haven't been through a tornado situation with us before. Maybe you're not used to this kind of weather. Small room, lowest floor, near the center of whatever building that you're in, and away from windows. That's the important thing that you need to think about right now with this storm about to move through. So it's crossing over the Chattahoochee River as we speak. This is not a confirmed tornado on the ground, but it's still what we believe is a very windy storm and could spin up a tornado at any point. So we encourage you to make sure you can get to a safe place in a timely fashion if you're in Stewart County out ahead of this thing, or if you are in Chattahoochee County, because this is on the way. Now in Stewart County here, if you're in Lumpkin, this is not going to impact you. You're not involved in this tornado warning, but just north of Lumpkin there along Highway 27, we encourage you in this spot, in this area, to get to your safe place as soon as you can. There, we're seeing the circulation here. And once again, these are strong winds. I tell you what, Ariana, let's pull up the debris tracker just to see if we've got anything showing up here for you. It looks like now that storm has crossed out of Barber County, and a bit of a messy look. Doesn't look like we've got much, but we'll keep watching this for you just to see if anything does develop here. We're always looking for any sort of discoloration. When you get the uniform colors here, those pinks and purples, nothing's really going on that we need to know about. But when you start to see the greens, when you start to see the yellows, you start to see the blues, that can certainly tell us that maybe there's some debris. Not looking at that now, but we'll keep watching it for you. So that storm now crossing out of Barber County, across the Chattahoochee River. It has crossed through that corner of Russell County that we told you about too. So let's pull that warning back up and the velocity view back up. And there's the warning itself. So right here in Barber County, we're going to give you an all clear. Eufaula, up and down 431, and then south and west of Eufaula, all clear. This storm has passed you by for now. But let's pull the...
On the south side of Eufaula, though.
Are they still tracking that?
There's a southern area.
Another rotation.
Yeah.
I see that right here. So there you go. And this looks like it could be maybe even taking on some characteristics of being a bit stronger. Let's pull the debris tracker up for that and just take a look at that. We're not seeing anything right now, but yeah. All right. So I take that back. This is for another area of circulation that is spun up with that system. So let's go back to that velocity view. I think that'll tell a better story here. Two kind of areas of concern. This one right here, and then you've got this one near Baker Hill that we're watching for you. So two areas of concern with this particular storm. So if you're in Eufaula, again, not an all clear yet. Mentioned that a second ago, but not an all clear yet, because this is going to come up almost in that same direction, but this is probably going to pass south of that first circulation. So the first circulation, that passed north of Eufaula near Wheaton Field and near Lake Point Resort. This second circulation is going to come up and pass probably south of the city of Eufaula. So we still want you hunkered down in your safe place for a little bit longer. Georgetown, we want you in your safe place too. And they may look at that, maybe put out a new warning on that. We're not real sure, but you need to be watching this very carefully. Here's the other warning. Now, I tell you what, let's query some of those pixels right there just to see if we've got some wind speeds with that we can tell you about. We're looking at this from pretty far away, so the winds that we're going to see are going to be up there in the atmosphere. 124 miles per hour. Yeah, so this thing is certainly screaming up here, but whether or not it's down on the ground or not, we don't know yet. So we're not really looking at this storm from a point of view where we can see what's going on down on the ground. Looks like a new tornado watch has been issued. So we'll show you that in a bit, but a new tornado watch is out probably for all those counties that are not involved in this one as we speak. And I tell you what, Randolph and all them. We've also got, let's take the mobile alert center real quick. Let's pull that up. We've got the mobile alert center that I want to show you, and I'll tell you exactly where Walter is in here. So the mobile alert center is up. He is in South Columbus. Looks like, I don't know if we can take that shot. There we go. Mobile alert center on the road, South Columbus. He's in the middle of some really heavy rain
Hey, DJ,
right now. Yeah, Dana.
And Ari, maybe you can help us out. I think maybe we can get a clear view of this from the Americas radar. Sorry, I'm back, guys. Sorry. Maybe we can get a clear view of this from Americas and get a unique view of it here. I don't know if it's hitting anything necessarily really convective.
Yeah,
So maybe we can get something. I don't know.
It may be a little far away, but we can check it.
Yeah.
So let's go back to Max, and yeah, we'll pull up that Americas radar. And once again, we talk about, and oh, here you go. And yeah, a little tough to see. We're not in range yet, but you see that radar sweep going around. This is our radar view out of Americas. Once again, we talk about the importance of having radars close by so we can see what's going on down on the ground instead of what's going on way up here. So as this thing approaches Marion County down the line, Sly County down the line, as the line starts to move that way, we can get a better point of view of that for sure with that radar. But right now we're looking at it from a couple of different points of view. And we're going to keep a very close eye on that for you. But again, two separate circulations that we've got to watch for you now. Two bends or kinks within that line. This one again coming just south of Eufaula now. One that is crossed over just south of Omaha right there. So 1 and 2. Those are the two circulations that we've got an eye on for you. And Ariana's circling those for us now. That one again, we mentioned this was going to pass south of where the original one passed over. So the first one that you see here near Omaha, that crossed over 431 north of Eufaula. This one is crossing over 431 pretty much where Eufaula is as we speak. So two circulations that we've got an eye on for you. Yeah, if they can pull that up in the control room, the John Foy Alert Center Skycam in Eufaula, be good to see. There you go. And look. Yeah, and look at some of that wind blowing those sheets of rain there. You can see that in some of the parking lots. The lightning continues to flash there. You see the raindrops hitting the camera lens there. So we're going to try to spin that around to see what we can see with that. But it'd be hard to detect much of anything at nighttime. Again, you try to track storms and look at these storms in the southeast at night. It is hard to do, but boy, that rain is very, very heavy. Lightning's almost continuous there as we try to get a look.
Look at the rain on the road.
Yeah, we try to get a look here in the sky for you. You can see just the sheets of rain blowing on the road. And again, this is why we're getting power outages, why we're getting trees down, why we're getting all kinds of reports like that coming in from these particular storms, and why we've seen those power outages too. So the Weather Service has updated that warning for us. So this is an update to this warning that still includes the city of Eufaula. Again, we need you hunkered down. We need you in your safe place now. And then the additional tornado warning for Stewart County and for Chattahoochee County. And they did take Russell County out of that now. So no formal tornado warning in Russell County. But you do have this tornado warning out till 2:45 a.m. Eastern Time, Stewart County, Chattahoochee County. And then you've got right there again, the city of Eufaula still under that tornado warning till 1:30. So 7 more minutes or so. Hang out with us for a little bit longer in Barber County and Eufaula until this thing can pass you by, because it's certainly still showing signs that there's something going on and there's some strong winds. Elsewhere, you've got that big severe thunderstorm warning, and we'll show you that real quick too. That's going to be for Stewart, for Webster, for Marion County now, Sly County now under that, Taylor County under that, eastern Muskogee County, eastern Harris County, Talbot County, southern Meriwether County, and Upson County. That is a severe thunderstorm warning, a large one. This is the Weather Service saying, hey, heads up, anywhere in here, that's what you could see, a spin-up tornado. You could get that happening within this big massive rain and storms as it blows through, and you're also going to have wind damage potential regardless of whether there's a tornado or not. So that's why the severe thunderstorm warning is out. And then on top of all that, you got the flood warning, flash flood warning, Muskogee, Harris, parts of Talbot, parts of Chattahoochee, parts of Marion County. A lot going on tonight. Let's pull the radar view back up and let's show you the top view down, and then we'll head down to those tornado warnings and show you what's going on. So you've got very intense rain and wind showing up from Thomaston now, back down into Talbotton. Probably some strong gusty winds pushing right through the city of Talbotton right now, right there along Highway 80 and right there along Highway 96 heading out toward Butler. So that's going to be an intense area of wind and heavy rain. New severe thunderstorm warning coming in for Randolph and Clay County. We'll show you that in just a second. Down to the south, you've got those strong winds and heavy rain continuing into Muskogee County, still the east side of the county. Fort Benning's property in Muskogee County, most of Fort Benning, Casita. You're under a severe thunderstorm warning, but you're also under a tornado warning because this, again, is heading up in your direction. That little nook right there, that hook, that's where the winds are feeding this storm that way, blowing out of the storm that way. That's your circulation. That's where we have that potential for a tornado as it lifts to the north and east. So Casita, Fort Benning, heads up, you're under this thing next. Lumpkin, this is going to pass by you to the north, but anywhere along Highway 27 in northern Stewart County, we want you in your safe place. Anywhere that butts up against the county line there with Chattahoochee County. And right there where 280 and 27 come together in Casita, we want you in your safe place too, because that, once again, is circulation, is the potential for a tornado. Down to the south toward Eufaula, still tornadic potential here. And back down toward Baker Hill. You see the heavy rain, the lightning, the thunder, that continues. And that's probably what's also prompting that severe thunderstorm warning for Randolph County and for Quitman County out here. So let's pull the velocity view up. Let's look real quick at those places of circulation that we're still tracking for you. That one coming through Eufaula maybe doesn't look quite as good. This one still looks pretty concerning just east of Omaha in Stewart County, and that's going to be tracking to the north and east. As we said, Lumpkin, this is going to miss you, but right there along 27, right when you come into the county from Chattahoochee County, we want you in your safe place. And then Casita, we want you in a safe place immediately, right now. This thing's coming up into your direction. If it continues that path, there is a chance maybe that gets extended into Marion. We'll see how that goes. Again, these things have not been very long lasting for the most part, so we'll see how they cycle through. But I would say the southern extent of that circulation, maybe not looking quite as impressive now, but still have to watch that for you carefully. Keep a close eye on that for you. This is the main concern, I think, coming into Stewart County right now here, east of Omaha, and that's pushing up into Chattahoochee County near Casita. We can still hear that rain continuing, the heavy rain, the thunder, the lightning. That's all part of it. What you got? 2 inches of rain here at the station. So the rain continues to come on down in buckets, flash flooding potential in spots, and then we've got that tree down, the wind damage potential too. But yeah, there's still that circulation showing up. So the radar is still picking this up for you in Stewart County. That's hugging the Chattahoochee River, so that's the county line right there, and that's what we've got to keep an eye on for you, right down through there. All right, so let's go to the radar view, then we're going to go back out to Alley-Ann here in a minute, and then we'll get back to Tyler and Dana too. We'll watch this for you carefully. This again is our trouble spot for now, centered around Stewart County. But what I want to do is pull the warnings back up, show you that new severe thunderstorm warning down here to our south, because that was just issued for, again, a large area out here with that white outline, which tells us tornado potential with this right here. So that includes Clay County, Quitman County, and Randolph County. So that is going to be what we're going to watch for you next. And because this is on the south side of that line of storms, and it's a little bit out ahead of everything, and there's still lots of energy down here, we're going to watch this with great interest because the environment is still in a position where we can see tornadoes, and we want to watch this carefully for you. So Clay, Quitman, Randolph counties, heads up. Warning out for you now. Wind damage potential out for you now. But just know that at any moment you could see what we had moving through, that spin up tornado risk, that spin up tornado threat. Let's pull back up to the north. Looks like they updated that warning a bit for us too. The tornado warning's been updated a bit for us, and you can see right there, yeah, Chattahoochee County, Stewart County. So that's just an update. They've trimmed away the back piece of it there, showing us again where that circulation was located. And it's still right here moving up to the north and east. So as we said, if that continues that motion, yes, Chattahoochee County, you're already under the warning. You're going to be impacted by it. But Marion County, a heads up for you out ahead of this, because if you're in Buena Vista, if you're north there along Highway 41 in Marion County, this storm has potential to impact you down the road. You're already getting perhaps heavy rain, high winds, but we're going to watch this for you too. I tell you what, before we go back to Aliane, Ariana, let's pull the radar view, the velocity view back up, and I want to look up here to the north and see if there's any trouble spots along that line that we need to look at as this pushes east of Columbus. And as of right now, nothing too major showing up for us. So again, we're looking at it from some radars that are pretty far away. It will be interesting to get this stuff a little closer to that Americas radar to give us a better point of view, a better perspective of that. But right now, no major trouble spots, I think. However, you're still looking at that wind damage potential, the trees down, potential for power outages and that sort of thing with all this that you see. It looks really messy on the radar, looks pretty rough on the radar. You see those intense bands of rain and lightning and wind, but we're at least finally starting to see things calm down a bit. Troup County, the severe weather threat for you is over. Meriwether County, it's ending really soon. Harris County, the severe weather threat's ending very soon. Muskogee County, still a little bit of this storm to get through, but it'll end soon for you too. And then look at the difference in the lightning. You don't have as much lightning up here, but then you go down here, and that's where there's more energy for those storms. You get a lot more of that lightning and a lot more of those problems starting to show up down here. So we're going to watch these storms for you carefully, and any of this stuff out ahead of it, as we talked about, has that potential in this environment to spin up something. So we're going to watch it for you. Aliane, we'll send it back over to you.
Yeah, and like we were saying, that Barber County rotation we were watching earlier, that one has now expired. So you fall in the clear for that there. Let's go ahead and pull up that velocity view again. Let me switch the radar network and move it down for us so we can look at that one that was there. Still not quite close enough to our Americas radar network to where we can really get that better picture view of that circulation. But like I was saying, Barber County now in the clear, but we are really highlighting, of course, Stewart County. So just to the north of Lumpkin, right there, you see that area of rotation. I'll circle it now for y'all so to really point it out for you. This is what we're talking about right here, that circulation there. So again, if you're in this area headed towards Casita, these are the spots you want, of course, to again be in your safe space. So we're gonna zoom back in and I'll pull up that warning box for us and we'll go ahead and get that street level view for you. So looking at that warning box there, you can see Union, Louisville, Mount Gilded Church, Casita. These are the spots, of course, we want y'all in your safe spot. So of course, we're talking that most interior room in your house, the lowest level floor, away from windows. Grab some cushions off your couch if you're in these areas. That's going to make it a bit more comfortable, like I've been saying, but it also does add that protection. So like I was saying, still not quite in that Americas radar view close enough to where we can really see that better rotation that we could be picking up there with it. Still gonna change this radar view there for us to get a better look as we zoom in again. But again, you want to be in your safe space if you are in Chattahoochee, Stewart County, Georgia right now. So National Weather Service has continued that warning. But again, you're just seeing that rotation there on the tornado detection right here. This is the velocity view. Like DK was saying earlier, we can look at that bigger picture view with the radar and you can see how much energy there is right there. All of that lightning that of course really indicating how much energy there is right now in the atmosphere to help fuel these storms. So that's one of the reasons why we did see that tornado watch get extended into those more southern Georgia counties in our viewing area. So that of course is including Quitman, Clay, Randolph, Terrell, Lee County. You are of course getting some of these very strong storms. Do we still have up those? Yep, they are still in, of course, those severe thunderstorm warnings. And of course, that white outline you see of these boxes right here, that means these have the potential for tornadoes to develop in these severe thunderstorm warnings we've been issued in these areas. And this, of course, extended into portions of, you have portions of Talbot County, you have portions of Taylor County there, portions of northern Marion County, portions of course, just slightly Muskogee, Chattahoochee, also Stewart County there as well. But we can go ahead and look again at that tornado warning. I haven't seen anything come through from the National Weather Service on it, but I got to move that radar again. That keeps jumping. Not really seeing as much. Are y'all seeing anything more on y'all's side over there?
Your rotation looked pretty good for a while there, and I know Walter is hanging out in Casita.
Yeah, I think it's at the gas and go. Is it, yeah, he's at
Oh,
the
he
truck
is
stop
in
right
Casita
there. Yep.
right now?
Yeah, so he's kind of anchored there and watching it. So we'll pull up the Mac, and he's kind of it would be going through Casita in about 10 minutes or so.
So again, like we were saying, if you're in those areas, you want to be in your safe space right now, especially I'll pull up that polygon again so you can see the spots. We can get closer.
Yep.
And
Yep. Tyler, go. If you want to take the touch screen too, after Alley-Ann kind of diagrams that out, we can go ahead and take a look at that. We're kind of got a different view of it from where we are.
yeah, I can. The Americas radar keeps getting pulled up on it. Like we
Yeah.
were saying, it's not quite close enough to really point out there for us. But I'm going to add that polygon again for that tornado warning. So this is the area, this red outline right here. If you're in this area, we want you, of course, in your safe space. Now, it's mainly crossing Highway 27 right there at the moment. So we'll zoom in, get that closer view. Like I was saying, Louisville, Casita, this is, if you're in this area, get to your safe spots. Anything y'all want to add to this about that rotation that y'all are seeing?
It looks like, it might stay a little bit south of Casita, but very close.
Yep.
You still need to take those precautions.
Yeah, so I think if you take a look right here, if we can take the touch screen real quick, it's just north of Louisville. Louisville's right here on Highway 27, this little L right here. It's that little bend in 27 that actually goes past the two-lane where all the churches are and everything. Right here is Chattahoochee County, and it's right about here right now. Riverbend Park's right about here. Casita's right here, and you see it moving northeast. It's going to be in the Ida-Vesper area around 244, Manta around 242. This is actually Highway 26 that comes out Casita, goes toward Buena Vista. This right here is 26. Chatco High School is about right here. So if you're anywhere near Chattahoochee County High School, the new high school on 26, this is where this is going to go. So Walter, if you can hear us here, I know you're on Unity, I would go maybe back out and go out 26 just a little bit to the east, go out toward Chatco, and maybe post up right there. Tyler, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. It seems like it might stay just to the east of where he's at, but the rotation is still. It's not as tight as it was earlier, but we certainly have some pretty strong winds coming together in different directions. The greens and the red telling us that. So that circulation is right in here. And so as this lifts up to the northeast, that's where we're going to be watching for that as we go into the next several minutes. So Marion County, you're not technically in that tornado warning, but we're certainly going to keep an eye on that for you. But this is going to kind of cross 27 here, move toward 280 as we have our radar view on. And again, you can see some of the strongest winds are coming out of Stewart County now, so just past the Louisville community and then heading up toward Casita. And that's what we're watching there.
Yeah, so right about, let's diagram it again, right about here. Looks like it might be around 27 right now. We're on the Chatco Stewart line, so about 3 or 4 miles north of Louisville. heading up toward the east, the northeast here. So Casita's right about here. Little town of Renfro's right here. Little town of Brooklyn, Georgia, not New York, is right here on Highway 520. I go to Albany and drive this road. I could do it with my eyes closed. You really don't want to. I wouldn't advise that. But heading up toward the northeast here. So 280 between Casita and Renfro. Right there on 26 between Chatco really and the Marion County line is where I think that storm's going to go here. I don't think it is tornadic right now, to be honest with you, Tyler.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
It's weakened quite a bit.
Right.
But the National Weather Service is still keeping that. I believe the warning goes until the top of the hour here. Yep. So it goes till, let's see, it goes till.
Let me query it here. 2:45 actually.
Okay, 2:45.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that'll make sense. And
Yep.
you know, at this point, it doesn't look like it's going to be extended over into County at this juncture. But they do have a severe thunderstorm warning. So at least on the west side of Buena Vista, northern part of Marion County. So we'll watch that. Let's see what the normal reflectivity looks like, just to give everybody some bearings. So notice how the strongest storms. Southeastern Barber County, we can almost give you the all clear, and it's, you know, there's still some cells down here that have been coming from Henry and Dale County, but we can almost give you the all clear there. Just hang on a little bit longer. But Quitman, Clay County, we still want to watch here as I zoom in a little bit. Gusty winds, 60-mile-per-hour winds certainly possible. Another round of wind for Lumpkin over to Richland, and as you go up toward where we're watching that tornadic cell or tornado warning still technically for a few more minutes near Casita. Luckily, the circulation has died down, but we still have very strong winds. And don't underestimate the heavy rain with this either, and the wind threat. You know, we talk a lot about the tornado threat and how it's been kind of focused the last few hours mainly south, but still strong winds can do a number for the
Absolutely,
area.
yeah. DK, you and I can preach that, right? A couple of weeks ago, Sunday morning, he's nodding his head over there. We were here about a month ago, and it was, you know, remember it too. It was power outage. Thousands of lost power for a couple of days in some cases too. So that was straight line winds. That wasn't tornadic winds either. Tyler, I want to mention one more thing. Sure. I want to watch these storms right here. These right here out in front of that squall line. There's a couple of isolated ones, one in Webster. This one's near Parrott, but it might affect, you know, Sumter County. This one's kind of isolated out here in Randolph, and then there's another one here between, looks like between Leary and Albany, heading up toward, this might clip southeastern Sumter. Yeah. Let's watch these individual storms here. These are the ones that might get supercellular and might produce the, you know, the stronger tornadoes. We still have that very small parameter space here for some intense tornadoes, really south and east of the Columbus area.
And let's see, if we could pull up the mobile alert center now. Walter's still driving around. We can see just some intense lightning, and you know, we can actually get kind of a
horror movie.
Yeah, we kind of actually see the sky kind of because the lightning is flashing
so much.
Fun fact:
that blinking tower right there is our tower.
Ah,
it was one of the tallest structures in the world for a while until they built some other ones. But yeah, that's where the Channel 9 stick is out there in Chatco.
Well, there you go. Seeing us strong out there, and the storm is strong as well. So a lot of lightning flashes, vivid, almost non-stop lightning showing up there as that storm moves through.
He's on Chatco. That's Chatco. That's
There's the
High School.
High School. Yep, right there. So. Listening to us, and we appreciate Walter, who does a fine job there. And by the way, I know a lot of people have been having trouble with the WTVM weather app. Android users, it's a known outage, and we've been working with our vendor with that. It's not on our end, unfortunately. It's just bad timing, and so just be patient with that. That's why we always encourage having the multiple ways to receive warnings, because I'm sure the higher than usual traffic probably doesn't help either.
Absolutely.
But regardless, we have this line of storms. Let's draw a little all clear. Let's see, where did the thing go? So we go basically right, well, more or less. Let's see.
Get back.
Start back.
There we go.
So Troop County's pretty good, and basically most of East Alabama is in all clear. There's a smiley face, the Dana Barker signature right there, and then why don't we draw a frowny face on the other side of it?
Yeah, maybe
maybe a little.
Okay. Not a scared, fearful face.
Right,
Don't
right,
be scared.
right.
We're gonna get you through this.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it prepared and informed. But the bottom line is, almost can give you the all clear in Columbus. We're basically right there, but a lot of East Alabama as well. So that's the good news. We'll put a loop on these storms as they move very quickly off to the northeast. Overall, the overall system is kind of moving slowly from west to east, but the cells themselves are moving from the southwest to northeast. And so we'll watch some of these individual cells out ahead of the main line. So again, they're going to put down a period of heavy rain, but also pack those very strong winds. And at times, there could be a brief tornado. Yep. All right, let's see. Chief Meteorologist Derek and Kate standing by.
Hey guys, yeah, we've got the warnings here put up for you. We'll do a bit of a reset for you. It's approaching 2:45 Eastern Time, 1:45 Central Time, and we've been in continuous coverage just really after the 11 o'clock newscast went to a close. That was an all-weather newscast for us. It came on after the NBA game. Right after that went to a close, we went off the air. We thought we'd have a chance to continue to watch these storms for you, but lo and behold, tornado warning came out for Tallapoosa County. We've been here for you ever since for the last couple of hours. So tornado warning still continues for Stewart and Chattahoochee counties we've been telling you about, but just expired? Perfect. All right, so the tornado warning has expired, and as we've been telling you about, Tyler and Dana have been going over it. Storm weakening, circulation weakening a bit. That'll disappear from the system here pretty soon. Now, we still have those severe thunderstorm warnings in place.
Just one now.
Just one?
Yep, the one for Randolph and Clay, and that's it, equipment.
Perfect. All right, so this severe thunderstorm warning has expired.
Give it 1 minute.
And then we have this one down here that's still going on. So all bits of good news for us. And I tell you, when I was looking at some things behind the scenes over here, looking at what does the environment look like around here, the good news that we have to report is that as you move north through the Chattahoochee Valley, yes, you still have potential for these storms to have wind and lightning and heavy rain. Those threats are on the table, but the tornado potential is a lot higher down to the south, along Highway 82 even, from Eufaula back over to Albany. That's where we're looking at still that potential for these storms being able to spin up, still that potential for a tornado. But the good news is the further north that you go, that's where the tornado potential is a lot less. We're not seeing as much of that really warm, muggy air being lifted up in that direction. So these storms, as we have been watching for you the whole time, we still have to watch these very carefully for you. These isolated storms out ahead of everything, the line itself that's moving through this area, there's still potential here for it to tap into some of that energy that it needs to produce storms that could potentially produce tornadoes. But for the most part, that threat is a little lesser across our northern counties. So that is good news for us tonight that we're reporting. Now, there's still plenty of lightning, plenty of thunder, and plenty of intense storms along the way. And that's not to say, even though the warning might expire, that we may not have some damage, trees down, power lines down, that sort of thing. That's certainly possible with these storms, especially with the lightning output that we're noticing and that we've been showing you on the Skycam, Mobile Alert Center views. Plenty of lightning for sure, and plenty of power outage potential in here. And again, we're looking at some of the lightning strikes, more than 340 lightning strikes just within the last half hour or so, with these storms rumbling through Marion, Chattahoochee, and Stewart counties. So that's the kind of potential, again, that we're looking at for you. But as far as wind damage goes, that potential a little bit lower across the area now that our severe thunderstorm warning has expired. We're still watching down to the south, Clay, Quitman, Randolph counties. That severe thunderstorm warning is still active for a little while longer. And again, these storms are a bit closer to that energy source and closer to the potential where you could get one of those spin-up tornadoes. But the news is pretty good for a lot of us. And we talked about this for what seems like days. We talked about it a lot in all these different newscasts, but we knew the storm potential was a lot higher out west. And then we knew that those storms were going to weaken a bit or lose a bit of their punch as they pushed toward us. And we knew that they would probably lose even more of that punch as they continued moving off to the east. Now, we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning that just came out for Taylor County, Chattahoochee County, and some others. So this is a new warning that came out here. But notice Muskogee County not involved in this. Talbot County not involved in this. Troup, Meriwether, Upson counties not involved in this. So this is for still part of that line. Still, again, potential for a spin up here, but we're watching once again for wind damage. There is so much lightning showing up, as we talked about. We could have some power outage concerns, but that is a new severe thunderstorm warning until 3:30 a.m. Eastern time. So that is the new warning that's come out. Now that includes Taylor County south of Butler. It includes Marion County, really most of the county. Chattahoochee County from Casita and points off to the east. A lot of Stewart County, a lot of Webster County, Richland, Weston, all those communities there involved in a severe thunderstorm warning. Now look at the flood advisory too. This came out a little while ago. The green here, Russell County, Barber County, Bullitt County. It's a flood advisory. The purple is a flash flood warning. So those are rain warnings. What you're looking at here would be wind type concerns. Notice the lack of tornado warnings, which is really good news. So that tornado warning expired. Now just 2 severe thunderstorm warnings to keep an eye on here for you as we continue to track these storms through our eastern counties. But here again is an area where the atmosphere hasn't really been tapped into just yet. So there's still potential that we have to watch for you here out ahead of this. Now, as Tyler mentioned for you a second ago, WTVM weather app users, a lot of folks coming to Facebook saying, hey, we've lost the app stream, your app keeps crashing. We're having issues with Android app users. Our vendor, IBM, they're looking into the cause. No word yet on when they're going to be able to get that back up. But that's why we often tell you, have more than one way to get the information. Don't just rely on one thing. Have several different ways to get information. So you're able to watch us and watch this stream in a lot of different ways, in a lot of different places. We're, of course, on the television side. We are streaming on Facebook, on the News Leader 9 Facebook page. We are getting this on Roku and Amazon Fire and Apple TV, regular old cable, regular old antenna. You can listen to our coverage in case you run out of power. I'll step out of the way so you can see those radio partners or iHeart radio partners. Always a great thing to do to partner with them. And you can listen to our coverage at least if you've lost your power in your home and you have a battery operated radio, which we encourage you to have in that severe weather safety kit. Always an important thing to have out there, that's for sure. So really good way to, again, get the information to stay with us. And WTVM.com/live, a great place for you to go and watch live coverage as we're doing right now. Now, we continue to bring you bits of good news, and we've got more for you. All of East Alabama has been cleared from the tornado watch. So tornado watch over in East Alabama. Troup County has also been cleared from that tornado watch on the Georgia side. So the severe weather threat winding down. If you're sitting there waiting, and maybe this has been something that's gotten you really anxious, that you've been saying, I can't sleep, I've got to wait up for this thing. If you're in East Alabama, you can go to bed now. The threat has passed you by. Now, we're still looking at some storms, or I was still watching some of those down there in Pike County near Troy. We don't believe those storms are going to be severe or damaging. You can see them coming through right here. So that, again, not of a severe weather concern for us. They've moved out of that environment that we think has the potential for tornadoes and that sort of thing. Still may wake you up. Those things are going to move into Barber County here pretty soon, west of Eufaula, and it's going to be a bit wet. Maybe having still some lightning and thunder with that, but once again, there's no severe or damaging type weather potential with that, which is the very good news. But we're still keeping an eye out ahead of everything here for you, from Thomaston down to Butler, down to Buena Vista, and then bending back into Stewart County, Clay County, Quitman County, Randolph County. That's where there's still potential for wind damage, trees down and that sort of thing as this line moves on through. And look, give this another hour, 2 hours, and we're going to get it mostly on out of here, which is going to be some really, really good news for us. So if you're in Muskogee County, we can now give you the all clear. You can head to bed. The weather threat has passed you by. You still might be hearing some rumbles of thunder in the distance and that sort of thing, but the severe weather threat has passed you by. Harris County, it's over for you. Troup County, we mentioned to you a second ago, tornado watch is canceled. It's over for you. Meriwether County, same thing. So we can go ahead and clear you guys, this little corner right here, from the severe weather threat. Now, look, a lot of you, or maybe some of you, may be waking up into early Sunday morning and thinking, well, nothing really happened. This thing was a bust, nothing really happened. We had numerous situations today where we had confirmed tornadoes, especially out here in East Alabama. We were tracking those for you throughout the course of the nighttime. Whenever we have bad weather, just please know that it's not going to be bad everywhere. Not everybody sees bad weather. That's how it works, right? I mean, how many tornado events do we go through? How many of these events do we go through where you personally at home, you don't have any big problems, you don't have any damage? That's how this goes. A very large majority of us, every single time, we don't have any bad weather. We don't have any concerns when it comes to severe weather. However, the threat is there, especially on paper, when you have those ingredients coming together, and that's why we've been here watching this for you. And we did have numerous tornado warnings today, and in several cases confirmed tornadoes on the radar. Now, the National Weather Service, they're going to be out and about here in the coming days, doing some surveys of some of that damage, looking at what happened, judging the ratings of those tornadoes, and we'll, of course, once we get into the light of day, we'll be able to maybe see some of that. Now, some of those reports haven't filtered into the system yet, but we know in Tallapoosa County, Chambers County, Bullock County, at least confirmation there of tornadoes in these areas. So at least on the radar view. So again, National Weather Service will get out, check those out for you. Other reports too of trees down that are coming in that'll start filtering into the system soon. Trees down, power lines down, limbs down. That's a pretty common occurrence, and that was even happening before the storms got here with those really gusty winds that we had through the course of the day, in some cases gusting more than 30 miles per hour today. So this will start to fill in, I think, for us as we get into the next couple of hours, and especially as we get into the light of day. Now, let's go back to the radar view. We'll show you that big picture point of view of what's going on out there across the Chattahoochee Valley, and we'll maybe concentrate out here to our east and these areas that are out ahead of these storms. So Butler and Taylor County, you're getting the worst of the weather moving in right now. Right there along Highway 19 in Taylor County, you're taking the brunt of the storm at the moment. Heavy rain, high winds, potentially winds that, again, could cause some issues. We'll have to watch that for you. Reynolds, Potterville, Mock, heads up, same kind of thing. Everybody in the county is going to experience about the same kind of thing here. Now, you go back down into parts of Marion County, up and down Highway 41 in the county. That's where the worst of the weather is moving in now. Buena Vista, very, very stormy weather, lots of lightning, lots of thunder. There is a severe thunderstorm warning in place. There is at least some potential for some wind damage in place too. So we're going to watch that for you. That bends back down towards Stewart County, Lumpkin, Preston, again, Richland, Weston, those communities, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning. Wind damage potential, heavy rain, watching, of course, for some flash flooding. But as of right now, the tornado risk is not very high with that particular storm. Now, we look down to the south, Randolph County, Cuthbert right here. We're still looking and monitoring storms passing through Clay, Quitman, and Randolph counties. But as of right now, there's no major threat. But let's look at the velocity view down here for you. We'll start investigating that, and then we'll move our way back up. So there's the radar out of Americas taking a peek at this thing. Once again, we don't see any super concerning sign right now of rotation, but these things happen very quickly. That's why the National Weather Service has folks sitting at a radar and looking at every single update as it comes through, because they can get you those bits of information. They can get you those warnings very quickly. These storms can spin up very, very quickly, that's for sure. Now let's move to the north and let's see if there's any other places along that line that we've got to watch for you. And again, nothing too concerning at the moment. We're still looking at pockets, I think, of wind. We often mention this. I like to say pockets of damaging wind, because when you get a warning that comes out, not everybody in the warning gets bad weather. As we again remind you, there are going to be pockets here and there, little things tucked away where you get the winds that are strong enough to cause some damage or cause some issues. That's how it usually is, unless you're dealing with a long, destructive line of storms that has that leading edge of really, really strong gusty winds everywhere. That's, again, not usually what we see, but little pockets here and there where you see the blues and the greens kind of touching each other. That's where you could have little areas of concern or damaging winds, trees down, and that sort of thing, bending through Taylor County, down into Marion County, and back down to the south from there. I tell you what, let's look at the radar view out of Americas now that we're getting these storms a little closer to it. And let's look at just the stormy weather from that point of view. So we'll turn that on for you. The radar view located very near the Walmart in Americas on a water tower. And once again, we're able to look at these storms at a level that we couldn't see before. So there used to be a gap here in the radar coverage to where we had to look at these storms from thousands of feet up into the air. And that's not the place to look at storms. We need to look at them a lot closer down to the ground, to see what's falling out of them and if there's any sort of tornado or not. So now we're getting these storms a little closer to the radar site. We'll pull the velocity view up here for you and just see Ellaville and Buena Vista and Preston and Richland and just see if we've got any trouble spots. And we don't right now, which is great news. But we'll have to watch all this for you as these approach the radar site. Remember, this is still a place that hasn't had a lot of rain today, hasn't seen a lot of action today in terms of rain or wind. So there may be, again, enough energy to maybe get a circulation in here to get a spin-up tornado or something like that. Now, I do believe that the overall risk for strong tornadoes, long track tornadoes, remember, we were talking about that risk, and that was certainly on the table out west, and initially when those storms were moving in, I really believe that risk has pretty much gone to bed for the night. The environment just isn't as primed for that anymore, which is fantastic news. All right, let's pull the radar back up. We'll just look at the rain here for you, see the stormy weather as it approaches Buena Vista and Ellaville and Preston and Lumpkin. Still, plenty of lightning, plenty of thunder, and we're just going to keep a close eye on that for you tonight. Just got an update on the tornado watch, too. I think they've cleared some counties from it, so let's go ahead and show you that. I believe they probably, yeah. So they pulled Muskogee, Chattahoochee, Talbot, Upson, Troup, Meriwether, and Harris counties. So the tornado watch over for those areas. So as we've been telling you, as soon as that line clears you, the severe weather threat is over. And you can sleep easy tonight and go to bed and wake up tomorrow morning and see what the storm left behind. Again, we always love to see pictures of what happened. That can help us confirm things for the National Weather Service, can help the warning process along. If we see or we know that, hey, this particular storm caused this kind of damage, well, the next time it rolls around, then maybe the Weather Service, if we knew that, they can issue a warning on it a little earlier, whatever it might be. So having those pictures, fantastic, but we never ask you to send those in if you're not in a safe place or not in a safe position. We want that storm to pass you by first. We want everything to be safe, and then if you see damage or you see something that happened, we'd love to get that picture or that video in. We don't want anybody in an unsafe place getting that, sending it to us. We've got professionals to go out and do this. Walter in the MAC, if one of our meteorologists was out and about, they would be able to do that in a safe way. But we don't encourage you to. Again, if you see something that's happened, let us know. Send us a picture, send us a video. You can upload that right there within the WTVM weather app, and that'll be a great resource for us, and great again to see what happened as these storms move through. So there's again a look at the tornado watch going out till Sunday morning, 10 a.m. That threat is not going to last until 10 for a lot of these counties. They'll be cleared from this as we go through the course of the morning, and hopefully here again in about maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, we'll have this whole threat put to bed for the night. But still have to watch things closely for you for the next little bit. We'll send it back over to Allie Ann here in a minute, and then what we're going to do is we'll send it back over to Tyler and Dana too. So we'll just go through the process again here and look and see if there's anything that we need to know about, any of those concerns that we've got for you right now. But so far, so good, and the news has been good here over the last little bit, ever since we had that tornado warning that was canceled down there in Stewart and Chattahoochee counties. So far, again, looking at improving conditions weather-wise. Allie Ann?
Yeah, Derek, things are looking much better for us. Of course, we've there's not much more to say that Derek hasn't covered, but things improving. So we've had that line of storms. It's still pushing through. You can see that here where the worst of the weather is moving through is on that further southern part of course, our viewing area. So right now, Lumpkin getting in on lots of lightning there. Portion of Preston, you're about to get lots of lightning, heavy rainfall, Buena Vista. This is where the worst of the weather is for us right now. Now, I think this is switching that radar view. We can try to switch that radar view, get a better look with our Americas radar. But again, the worst of the weather that we're seeing right now is on our Georgia side. So Alabama, you are in the clear. You have a few of those showers still remaining right now, but things look good for us. So Columbus, Muskogee County, Chattahoochee County, you're in the clear as well now. And let's go ahead and switch that radar view. Yeah, you can really see how distinct, of course, how strong that rainfall with this system is still pushing through. But the good news is we're not seeing that rotation from any of these. Still tracking, of course, those storms that are out ahead of this system that are moving through, of course, right here, just south of Americus near Smithville. But things are improving for us, and that's exactly what we want to hear. The system has continued. I think that we've done a very good job of tracking it the past few days with our graphics we used, kind of highlighting the areas we had those highest threats, where we had everybody in the red. Of course, we've had those tornadoes. Of course, they're not confirmed yet. National Weather Service is going to be going out, observing those areas and seeing and rating them. Rating the areas we saw those warnings get pushed through, and that's going to, of course, determine if we had tornadoes on the ground. But things are improving for us. Still, though, got lots of lightning with the system, lots of rain too. We do have those active warnings still, and since these warnings are outlined, of course, in that white box right there, that does mean you have the potential for those tornadoes to still spin up. But I really am not seeing much circulation around there. Tyler, Dana, y'all aren't seeing anything crazy along that line either.
Northeastern corner of
Marion,
County.
yeah.
Marion?
Boss?
Okay.
Yeah, near the Tazewell area, it would be. So northeastern Marion, up a little higher there, up to the north. Marion, between Buena Vista and Butler there on Highway 137. See if we can get it off of Robbins here on the touch screen. Oh man, it's pouring rain.
Yeah.
This purple right here. That's I don't know if Robbins is running hot or what. There's a lot of purple on
A lot of
one line.
contamination from the.
There you go.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe some, a broad rotation, but certainly some strong winds.
Yeah, strong winds for sure there.
Yeah, you got a little bit of red here, so you guys at home, if you the Christmas colors, you get the red and the green together. It might be a little bit problematic here. It looks like it's coming up 137 up toward Butler. So let's zoom on into where it is right here. A little bit of rotation, very weak rotation. I would not call it tornadic just yet. So this is Taylor County right here. This is Marion County. 137 comes up from Buena Vista. This is it. It comes over to Butler. Tazewell is right here. So it's just northeast of Tazewell. Mock is right there. Yeah. Mock's right about here. So you got Mock right there, Tazewell. So it's going to go past Mock, going to go past Tazewell. Butler, I would just be, out of abundance of caution, just to go ahead and seek some sturdy indoor shelter. You're going to need to anyway from strong winds, but you might get something maybe a little bit more than strong winds here. So we're going to take a look at that at Taylor County here as that moves on through, Tyler.
Yeah, certainly in general, the tornado risk is lower than it was several hours ago as these storms were marching through Mississippi and West Alabama. Right. But we certainly still have that threat for a brief tornado. It's just looking like the stronger tornadoes are unlikely now, but we still got to look at the heavy rain and the wind that's coming through. With this severe thunderstorm warning continues here for another 25 minutes. It includes eastern Stewart County, so basically down toward Lumpkin, all the way up toward northern Webster County and the Preston area, and then as you go up through Buena Vista, as Dana was saying, Tazewell, and then up toward Butler. Ellaville and Americus, you haven't gotten much yet. There are some kind of isolated cells out ahead of it, but nothing that's screaming any rotation at the current time. Yeah,
and like Tyler was saying, this is not, back in Mississippi and even Alabama, we had those supercells out by themselves. This is one nasty squall line. So we're getting back into the severe weather events we've had over the past several months here.
Yeah.
Watching the kinks on the line, kind of watching the little squirrely turns there in the line to see if we get rotation. That's kind of what we're down to now. However, there's still some dynamics that could make those tornadoes a little bit more intense than the usual EF0s, EF1s that we're used to on this line. So don't let your guard down about that. But still, I think we're done with the big behemoth supercell tornadoes that we saw back to our west, for sure.
And that's certainly good news. So let's go ahead and kind of draw a line and give some folks the clear, and we'll let Dana do his little smiley face.
Yes.
Yes. Give him the
Center on Columbus.
The power.
The biggest city right here in the area. There, boom, Columbus.
Smiley face, all clear. All right, and so
and Americus right here to the east. I'm just going to give you a straight face.
Yeah.
Kind of,
Yeah. So basically, Troop, Harris County, Chatco now, really, and Muskogee County, and then all of East Alabama, you're in the clear. So that's good news. Omaha, Florence, Western Stewart County, you are in the clear at the moment. It's really just along that line and then out ahead of it. So pretty soon, really probably as we head toward 3:45 or 4 o'clock, maybe a little bit after that, we'll be able to really hopefully wrap up our coverage here.
Yeah, and give a viewing area all clear.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So really, the problematic area, I would say, would be right, for our coverage area, which is these counties.
Highway 19.
Yeah, so like this, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, so 280 through Plains,
Yep.
up toward Americus, which the radar there that we have, our exclusive radar, is certainly going to be coming in handy. But we have a lot of rain, and these storms have had a lot of lightning too. But we know that the lightning doesn't make a storm severe.
Right.
Even though it's bad and lightning is dangerous, it's the damaging winds that are 60 miles per hour or greater that make a storm severe. Hail, which we haven't had too much of. We've had some reports of pea-sized hail. Casita, there at the Gas and Go, Walter, who's been driving the Mobile Alert Center, said he had some hail there. But then when he moved over to the high school, when we thought we might have had a better chance of perhaps running into a little bit of rotation, there was no hail there. But rainfall has been heavy in some spots. We've seen some locations that have seen over 2 inches of rainfall with this. Still have a little bit of rain behind it, but this is not severe. So, a lot of times once the main line comes through, you still have some lingering showers, but this is kind of a walk in the park compared to just a little bit earlier.
Absolutely. And even down here, let me just take a look down here just for, take the Tallahassee radar and take that and just take a look from the south here. And even, down south, we got a few little isolated storms here. You got one near Lake Blackshear. You got one down here in the Albany area, but even then, we're not really seeing those big discrete storms. We are seeing kind of a broken line down here. Once you get past Fort Gaines, you got one near Dothan. Had a heck of a hailstorm, by the way, back on, I think it was Thursday. They had a pretty bad hailstorm down Panama City. Got a special marine warning for the Gulf waters, and a severe thunderstorm warning parts of Bay County. Down there, your old stomping grounds, of course. So there they got some severe weather down there at Panama City Beach and Panama City, but yeah, other than that, I think we're winding down for sure.
Yeah, and that's certainly good news. But we still have that severe thunderstorm warning, includes the heart of Marion County, although really northern Marion County, well, let's put that Warner Robins radar on. So really, most of Marion County, you're still looking at that severe threat. We can pretty much give you the all clear northern Stewart County just about, but basically Lumpkin down to the south as you go down 27 into Randolph County, you go into the Benevolence community, Cuthbert. Nothing severe at the moment, but we're certainly watching that. And then Webster County getting hit hard too, and there could be some small hail in with that, but we really think that 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts in spots remain the primary threat.
And it looks like that rotational area might have gone away. We
Yeah.
don't see red anymore, so that's a good news.
Good. That's good.
So
We'd
good
like
news
to
for
see
you in
that.
Taylor. You're still going to see some winds, still see some strong winds. Severe thunderstorm warning for really the southwestern quarter of Taylor, if you will. If you're south of 540, south of the Fall Line Freeway, and west of 19, if you will, still got that threat.
Yeah, and you don't want to underestimate those winds. You want to still kind of just make sure you're away from windows and that type of thing as these storms come through. But we've seen a tremendous kind of sigh of relief. I think a lot of us can feel now as we're coming to the last several minutes of this event, and hopefully it comes without much damage. We're not going to know too much until the sun comes up. There have been some sporadic trees and power lines reported, especially in East Alabama, but it's the middle of the night, and it's most people aren't going to be going out and about anyway, but you add storms to the mix, and we're not going to get as much activity. Dana's pulling up some of the power outages now.
Yeah, Tyler, you're looking at, I actually give credit to you, you're kind of looking at this, the counties that have power outages. Talbot County has got about 13% of their customers are out of power right now. Georgia Power has about a third of their customers in Talbot County that have no power right now. Let me go on back to Harris County. Got about 2,000 out, so about 13% as well in Harris County. The main, I'm not going to say offender, but about 1,200 in Diverse Power, 1,100 in Georgia Power without power up there in Harris County. Let me go on back. Muskogee had a few people out, about 6%. So out of 90 some odd thousand customers in Muskogee County, this is individual residences, if you will. About 5,000 out. Georgia Power about 3,500. Diverse Power about 2,100 up in the northern part of the county. In Alabama, though, that's where we definitely are seeing more outages concentrated by, if you look at by percentage. The counties jump out at you are Chilton, this one right here in the middle, and Pike. Those were both hit by strong tornadoes. Pike, I think we're going to have a strong tornado coming out of the Troy area from what we saw.
Yeah, major damage at the Walmart
Yep.
reported, and that was actually one of the shelters I was
wow.
seeing on the information from the National Weather Service. So that's kind of scary. But,
Yeah, so Pike County has about 1/4 of the customers in Pike County without power right now. And of course, it's outside the viewing area. So really in the viewing area, Chambers, Lee, Russell, Barber, really the biggest one is Chambers. That's only about 4% of the customers are out. And that's between Trek, Tallapoosa River Electric Co-op, and Alabama Power. So we fared pretty good in terms of power outages. We had a much wider power outage last month with the squall line that moved through.
And that's those little nuances you just don't know until we get into the event as to how it's going to transpire. But as Derek's been mentioning throughout the night tonight, and really for the last several days, you have the ingredients, and they were all there. They were screaming the potential for some really strong tornadoes in our area and really high winds. And we pretty much said all along that the wind would be the highest threat, and I think that's the main thing. But we also had a pretty significant, compared to average, tornado threat with this system.
Right.
We had several tornado warnings. National Weather Service will be checking out any suspect areas based on damage tomorrow, but we're really scaling back on the part of our area that's being impacted by the strong storms now. It really includes Sly, Marion, Sumter County, Webster County.
Yep, new warning now. I think Derek might diagram that on Max for us. It's a big old warning. It goes from Milledgeville through Macon all the way down to Americas, and our area includes really the rest of Webster that wasn't under a warning. So that fast 5 times. Rest of Webster, Sly, and also most of Sumter County except for the southeastern corner near Cobb and Lake Blackshear. So we can give it all clear now. All clear Stewart. All clear really half of Marion, Buena Vista, and West. All clear Chatco. All clear Talbot. All clear Upson, Harris, Troop, Mayweather, Muskogee.
Yeah, so certainly some good news. We're gonna let's get a quick look at the radar view, and we'll wrap things up on our end, I think, and then send it over to Chief Meteorologist Derek Kincaid. But Sly County, eastern and southeastern Marion County. Let's just zoom in there a little bit. Go in and take a closer inspection. Again, there's Ellaville, there's Buena Vista. You got Highway 30. And you also have 280 going into Plains. So Sumter County really hasn't gotten much yet, but you still have some of your worst weather to come there in Sumter County.
Absolutely. So if you're west of 41, we'll call that the proxy in Marion and Talbot, or not Marion and Webster. I know my county. Sorry, it's late. What is it? 3:15. 3:15. West of 41 from Buena Vista down to Preston, all clear. East of 41, so a little bit of time to get through with this line of storms that's moving through, Tyler.
Yeah, so that's what we're looking at right now. If you're in Columbus and if you're in any of those areas aside from Webster, most of Marion, Sly, Sumter counties, you can go to bed. We can give you that all clear. Still going to have some rain if you're going out in those counties that are all clear anytime soon. Just be mindful what may be on the roads. The Mobile Alert Center, this is the best that we've seen all night long as far as the lack of rain, the sheets of rain that aren't coming down, and we don't have any debris all over the road where we are at here. That looks like 185.
Yeah, coming Victory Drive, I think. He's
Oh,
coming
yeah.
up Victory Drive. He's about to cross 185 back into Columbus.
Yeah, so get back into 185 country there. So we are looking at that cloud cover that continues. Wet roads, certainly had a lot of heavy rain, but at least from this vantage point, and Walter's been all over tonight. We appreciate him. There's the Fort Benning statue there and memorial, and we're going to be still keeping an eye on some storms. And Chief Meteorologist Derek Kincaid is standing by with some more insight.
That's right, guys. Thanks so much. Again, Dan mentioned it's 3:15 Eastern Time, now 3:16 Eastern Time, and we've been in continuous coverage for quite some time here for you. And we're still looking at an intense band of storms. There's still a severe thunderstorm warning with some of these. We're going to show you that new warning in a bit. But here's the radar view that we're looking at. Different perspective here, different point of view for you coming out of Americas. So the radar here, as we mentioned earlier, sitting near the Walmart on top of a water tower. And we're able to get a view of these storms as they get closer to Sumter County. So Ellaville, Preston, down toward Benevolence, that's where the line is now. And as soon as this can clear the area, once again, we can give you the formal all clear that this severe weather threat is over. We haven't really heard a bunch of anything new from the National Weather Service. Again, that's our line of communication that we have with them during severe weather. When it comes to damage reports, all the local emergency managers are there in the chat with us too, and have not seen a lot of reports coming in over the last little bit, which is great news. But again, it is the middle of the night on a weekend. You typically don't get a bunch of reports coming in, even when you do have some really stormy weather passing on through. But as of right now, this is one of the best points of view we have for you of these storms as they move toward our eastern counties here and continue to slowly but surely get on out of the WTVM coverage area. Let's go back to the warnings. We'll pull up that new severe thunderstorm warning for you. Dana mentioned it's a big one. It stretches across most of this line. And a lot of times when you see that, when the National Weather Service does that, what they do is they like to put that up there just to say, hey, out ahead of this, we've got that risk of stormy weather. We've got that possibility of what's going on. So if we can put that on there for you, Ariana, if you don't mind, the the warnings that are up there, and we'll show you what's happening. So severe thunderstorm warning, a new one. Now there's not a tornado possible tag with this, so that's a bit of good news for us too. But that does include part of Taylor County, Macon County, Georgia, Sly County, Sumter County, Webster County. Again, that warning goes out till 4 a.m., about another 45 minutes-ish or so, and that includes the City of Americas too. So again, west of this area of storms, the weather threat is winding down. You can go to bed for the night, no problems left out there for us. Just be mindful waking up tomorrow morning, driving around, any sort of trees down or something like that. Now, there's still that severe thunderstorm warning for Clay, Quitman, and Randolph counties down here. Let's go down and look at that. That warning is still in place. Let's pull the radar view back up and see what we have going on here for you down here, because I'm not sure we've got a lot. There's what's left of that band of storms right there. Still some lightning showing up north and east of Cuthbert. Quitman County, you've got some pockets of heavier rain. That's about it. Northern Clay County, same kind of story. So I really feel like we're losing that severe weather kind of signature down here with that part of the line as things start to move on. So what's happening is these storms, they're moving out of an area of spin in the atmosphere, something that we call helicity in the weather world. So the helicity, the spin in the atmosphere, it's moving on out ahead of this line, right here where the line is, and then out ahead of it. That's where we have those higher values of that. Now, the energy that you need for storms, it's highest down here from about maybe Highway 82 and points down to the south. So that's where you have the other ingredient that you need to get really severe storms, including the potential for tornadoes. So those two things aren't coming together at the same time right now, which is great news. That's why we don't have a lot of tornado warnings showing up here for you. But we still have that wind threat. We're still tracking this line of storms through. And we're going to watch little pockets here and there along that line still for any potential spin up for a tornado or whatever it might be. So let's pull this back up to the north here and we'll show you more along the line. The lightning showing up here near Ellaville. Sly County is just getting into some of the stormiest weather as we speak. And these lightning strikes, no joke tonight, more than 350 just within that little box that we've drawn here for you. Marion, Sly, and Webster County. So that's a lot of lightning. That's why we're having those power outage concerns, that sort of thing. Trees and limbs are coming down when you combine that with some of the wind here. But the best news that we've got to report is everything continues to move on. Everything continues to push off to the east, to the northeast, and we'll be done with this thing here pretty soon in the next little bit. Now, we'll go back up to the north here a little bit for you through parts of Sly County, up Highway 19 into Taylor County. And Butler, you're still dealing with some of the rough weather, but the worst of it has pushed down the eastern parts of Taylor County. So you see here the darker shades of red right down through there. That's where we're looking at heavy rain, still some gusty winds, still plenty of lightning. But we, of course, we're monitoring for those little spins, those little concerns earlier. Not see much of that now. In fact, we'll pull the velocity view back up here for you just to do a little investigating, just to see what's going on. And that's the view out of Americas, but we're not seeing much going on up here. You see the reds and the greens right there, the blues out here ahead of it. that's still gusty winds, but the radar is looking at this at a higher point in the atmosphere. It's not looking at it down on the ground. Granted, you might get some of these winds being pushed down to the ground. That could knock down some trees or tree limbs, but we still want you on alert out here, but we're not overly concerned at the moment at anything that might be tornadic. In fact, looking all the way down this line, not really seeing much as of right now. So again, getting a few different points of view there. That's good news. So all good news to report tonight as the storms have lost a bit of their strength, lost a bit of their punch, as we expected they would as they initially crossed on through. If you remember, we drew out the map across the coverage area. We had a lot of the area in red out here, but we also had it maybe weakening a bit as those storms got to where they are now, and that seems to be the case. This is the map that we showed you earlier. So again, we had that higher tornado threat here, especially in East Alabama, those areas closer to the high risk. And then as those storms have passed on through, here's where they are now. And once again, we're alert for tornadoes, damaging wind, hail, but we don't have anything happening at the moment. So other than, again, wind damage potential, some lightning, some heavy rain. So storms losing a bit of their punch, their strength as they pass on through. So radar view right now, again, we can do this and give you another good perspective of the all clear kind of thing. So if we call out your county, you're done with the severe weather threat. That's Randolph, Tallapoosa, Chambers, Lee, Macon, Bullitt, Russell, and Barber. All of East Alabama. All of our counties of responsibility, severe weather threats over. If you're in Troup County, Meriwether County, Talbot, Harris, Muskogee, Chattahoochee, most of Marion, most of Stewart, severe weather threat is over for you right now. It's only areas along this line of storms and out ahead of it. So that includes Sly County, parts of Taylor County, Sumter County, Webster County, and then maybe parts of Clay, Quitman, and Randolph counties. But again, even down there, again, things are starting to move on. Still a little bit of a lingering threat for us. So hopefully, maybe within the next half hour or so, we could put this to bed for the night as these storms push off to the eastern fringes of the coverage area. In fact, the rain has tapered off here in the Fountain City. The rain has tapered off in parts of Harris County, Chambers County, Lee County too. But you don't have to travel far to find some intense lightning. Look at these lightning strikes showing up. They continue to go up. 466 strikes in the last 30 minutes or so. And it looks like Sly County is getting the absolute worst of this storm right now. Again, that is a ton of lightning and some strong winds. And there is that severe thunderstorm warning that's still in place, so that's why there's still damage potential here. And look, you're probably up with this thing. So if you're in Sly County, again, you're probably wondering what's going on with all the thunder booming around. But that's a very intense part of the storm, but we don't have any tornadic part of the storm to tell you about. So that's the bit of good news that we're here bringing you tonight. Once again, the warnings, there's still that flash flood warning in effect for Columbus and parts of Harris County, parts of Chattahoochee County and Talbot County too, but that's just for high water. We got a lot of rain in a real short period of time, and that's going to go out for a little bit longer till 4 a.m. Eastern time. Excuse me, that's the severe thunderstorm warning. The flood warning goes out probably for a little longer than that. And then that flood advisory back into parts of Russell County, Bullitt County, and Barber County. So dealing with some high water issues there, but that's the lower concern for now. I still think we're looking at the wind concerns. And Ariana, let's get the expiration of that warning down in Clay, Quitman, and Randolph. That's got to be 345. Yeah, and again, I'm not seeing as much with that right now. It's kind of was drawn in a weird way too with those counties up there, but I really feel like the weather threat even down there is starting to wind down a little bit. And then notice too the other severe thunderstorm warning. This was the new one that came out, that large warning from Macon down to Montezuma, down to Americus. That warning still in place for a little while longer. We've got to watch that storm with those gustier winds, the pockets here and there once again where you get some of those gustier winds, but it doesn't look like it's a major threat for us as of right now. So, and look, the flash flood warning just expired back out there in Columbus and Muskogee County, or at least was canceled, and there's still that flood advisory back out here. So this is what we like to see. Again, tornado watch has been canceled for a lot of these counties too, so it's just along the line and out ahead of it that we've got to watch things carefully for you. I tell you what, Ariana, let's pull up, if we have it on there, the SPC outlook for tomorrow. Well, actually, I guess the day one outlook, the one that's going to be out for Sunday. And we'll pull this up here for you. So tomorrow, this system will continue to push in this direction, and the severe weather concerns will shift to the Carolinas, to parts of East Georgia, and down into parts of Florida. Now, some of you tonight and some of you over the course of the last day or two were saying, hey, this is bad weather. I want to get out. I want to go somewhere else. I had somebody saying, hey, I'm going to go down to Gainesville. We had somebody saying, hey, I'm going to go to Savannah. Look, the weather is going to be bad there tomorrow. They're going to have this same line of storms push through. If you live in a house, and this is going to be for all future severe weather events, if you live in a house that you feel is reasonably well built and you have a small room, whether it's a bathroom, a closet, a hallway, that's your spot. That's your safe place to be. You don't have to worry about trying to get somewhere else, go somewhere else. That's your safe place. This is a real simple floor plan right here, but it illustrates where those places that we want you to be, the okay spots. Never, of course, a garage. That garage door is one of the first things to go when you get a tornado. We don't want you in a room that's near the outside walls, because that, of course, can sustain some damage. It's those middle rooms, bathrooms, closets, hallways, that are usually the safer spot for you to be. So for all future weather events, no matter what kind of threat we've got, again, this one on paper was a pretty big one. Certainly bigger than what we've seen the past couple of years, probably bigger than what we've seen this year, of course, for sure. Look, you don't have to try to evacuate and go somewhere else. That's not how the tornado situation works. The chances of you being hit by a tornado generally are pretty low in the great scheme of things, even on those really, really bad severe weather days. So no need to try to get somewhere else. If you've got a house with a small room, you're golden. You've got the place that you need to be. Now, the only thing we talk about in terms of getting somewhere else is mobile and manufactured homes. Now, in those cases, when you have an event like this, when you have something as serious as this, we want you to certainly think about being somewhere else before this bad weather happens. Now, some of you are in a position where you can get there right away. Maybe there's a storm shelter nearby. Maybe you know that community shelter nearby. Maybe you've got a friend or a loved one nearby that you can get to that house, and that's fine. That's wonderful. But maybe you don't. And in that case, that's when we want you to think about ahead of time, how can I get there? Maybe I'm going to spend the night there ahead of time, or whatever it is, to be not there when bad weather happens, when severe weather happens, when we have a tornado warning that comes out. Now, we didn't get a chance to bring you on the 11 o'clock news that 9-day forecast. If we got that, we can pull it up here for you too while we're here. So we'll pull up the 9-day planner for you, and we'll look ahead and get you ready for weather over the next few days. And the good news is that we're going to have some improving weather once we get past Sunday and going into Monday. And we don't have all of the graphics moved on here for you, by the way. We haven't been able to update this for you, but there's no alert day Monday. There's no morning rain chance on Monday. That's also St. Patrick's Day. And then as we get through the rest of the week, rain coverage stays pretty low. We do get a shot of some cooler air in here Thursday into Friday, by the way. So look at those lows dipping back down to the 30s. Still a bit too early to get plants in the ground, the garden into the ground, and that sort of thing, because we still can deal with those cooler shots. But I tell you, the deeper into March that we go, we of course know that threat for the threat for frostier weather is going to start winding down in quite a big way. So we're still going to watch that for you, though, a little bit later on this week. But the bottom line, there are big improvements in the 9-day forecast. In fact, we don't really see any big storm chances. We're going to watch early next week. That's another system that we'll have our eye on, and that's what we were doing with this system. We're just giving you that alert as early as we could ahead of time, letting you know, hey, we're looking ahead to stormy weather, and then as we get closer and closer and closer, that's when we can fine-tune that information for you and bring you some more about what's going on. Let's show you the radar view one more time, then we'll toss it back over to some other folks around here. But here's the loop over the past few hours. You see that intense lightning and heavy rain passing on through. And let's go ahead and do that, Ariana. We'll pull the loop up here. We'll go ahead and play that out, and you can see those storms passing on through. So this is over the last 3 hours or so, from 12:30-ish to about 3:30 or so. And you can see the progress those storms have made, moving off to the east and northeast. So still watching down here in our far southern counties, still keeping an eye out as we still have some of those ingredients that could potentially again form tornadoes or storms that could produce tornadoes. But we're watching the lightning, the heavy rain, the higher winds now clearing parts of Taylor County, clearing parts of Marion County, Webster, Sumter, Sly counties, though heads up. You're still under the gun right now for some of those big time threats. So I'll tell you what, we'll step off here. I'm going to step off here and I'll let you guys get the camera back over on Dana and Tyler. And what we'll do is hear a little bit more from them and hopefully get ready to wrap this thing up here pretty soon. In the great scheme of things. So that'll be what we'll be looking ahead to. So yeah, we'll take it over to Dana and Tyler here in just a minute once they get the camera swung around.
Let's see who's going first. Rock, paper, scissors. 1, 2, 3.
Oh.
Oh. 1, 2, shoot. Ah,
There you go.
So you lost. You go.
Okay. Oh, no, go ahead.
The winner goes. Oh, whatever. Okay. We're taking a look. We're getting squirrely, guys. 3:30 in the morning, and I promise you, if you're watching this in Americus and we're goofing around, we love you guys up to County. We care about you guys, and then we're actually going to talk about something that might be affecting you guys. Northwestern Sumter here.
Right.
Highway 30 comes on down from Buena Vista, actually the old Tri-County High School near Drainville here toward Americus. We got a little bit of rotation here in Northwestern Sumter. I'd love to see how that looks from the Americas radar. We get one of the Max boxes back, but. Just want to see this, and it's moving on off toward the east-northeast here. So Andersonville, the southern part of Sly County over into Macon County is going to go really south of Oglethorpe and Montezuma there. But we're going to keep an eye on this. And again, we got a little bit of a kink in the line here. That's what we got to watch now, play that little whack-a-mole game with this line of storms as it moves on over toward the east here around 50 miles an hour. But again, we're done almost in Sly County. We're pretty much done in really the northwestern fourth of Sumter. Pretty much done in Webster, but again, we got to watch this little kink in the line here in Sumter County as we move on out toward the east.
Yeah, and it's all part of a line. This is kind of a normal. It's called a quasi-linear convective system, basically at this point, and then along that.
Speaking my language,
yeah.
It's a nerd term for a
a squall line. But that's what we like to call it now these days. But basically, along the line, you can get little kinks in the line, like Dana was saying, and from this vantage point, it just looks like a lot of rain, a lot of wind, but that's stretching really from the Macon area and even farther north up toward Milledgeville. Is that Georgia State College up there? I believe.
GCSU, I think. Yeah.
Okay, and then you go down to the south, and we still have the warning that's hanging on for Quitman, Clay, and Randolph County. But really, there's just a few residual storms that are coming into the northern part of Randolph County there. But the main part of the line that we're watching is coming out of Webster County, right over Plains. Plains really nasty right now, especially just to the north, and then extending up into Sly and also parts of Macon County in Georgia.
Not for us either, but let's take a look at these. One in Dooley County or Vienna, one just near the Elko area, south of Perry and Houston County, another one right here in southeastern Sumter. We're starting to get another little area of these little individual storms, and those were the ones that could cause some severe weather out by themselves. But this is east of the viewing area, except for this one, save this one right here in southeastern Sumter.
Like Blackshear,
Cobb,
Leslie.
Cobb, Leslie, DeSoto over that area. But again, the line's got a little kink in it here in northwestern Sumter. Isolated storm in southeastern Sumter, kind of a sandwich around Americas here. So Sumter, we're the one county that we're keeping an eye on for you. We're going to stay here until this gets out of here for possible severe weather.
Hey, they dropped the severe thunderstorm warning for Randolph, Quitman, and Clay County. A little early, too, so we can rejoice.
Thank you, Tallahassee.
Yes, thanks for looking out. So we have, again, just a small sliver of our coverage area, but an important part of our coverage area, Sumter County, much of Sly County, then extending just outside into Macon County. But let's do our little signature smiley face. And
all right,
ready? I'll let you do the honors.
All right, thank you, sir. So all equipment, northwestern corner Clay. I think Fort Gaines still got to hold on here. Most of Webster, most of Marion, most of Sly, Butler, and West and Taylor County. And, of course, all of Alabama. We've already talked about that. DK talked about Alabama being all clear already. So, really, we're down to southeastern Webster.
2-3 counties.
Yeah, Sly and Sumter, and that's it. And then out of that is going to go to the Macon and Albany markets, and our friends at WALB down to the south, and our friends over in the Macon area will take care of people in middle Georgia and southwestern Georgia and walk these storms through. Yeah,
so still just got a little bit longer, and we'll hopefully by the top of the hour we'll begin to give you the all clear. Still a few residual showers, Russell County, Barber County, but no longer something to worry about. And kind of what kicked off this coverage, this you know, I wasn't here yet, but you guys had all weather during the 11 o'clock show.
Right.
And then we kind of went right into some pre-tornado warning coverage for cells in Tallapoosa and Pike County.
Right.
And the one in Pike County caused quite a bit of damage in Troy.
Right.
The rec center near the Walmart there being used as a shelter, and supposedly there's quite a bit of damage kind of in that area, so they'll learn more at sunup. So that kind of kicked off everything, and then we had, you know, several tornado warnings that were kind of issued at some point, and then obviously I think just about every county had a severe thunderstorm warning.
Yep, and those two supercells, of course, one Tallapoosa, you know, that was damage reducing too. It had a nice little TDS on it from about Wind Creek up to Horseshoe Bend, so they're going to go out and survey that. It was a rural area, thank goodness it missed Alex City, Dadeville, the biggest population centers in Tallapoosa County. Thank goodness kind of went in between there, so another serious tornado there. But those, if those were by themselves, those would have caused, you know,
They would have been long track.
Yeah, put all line from Troy here and go northeast. You know, what's northeast of Troy?
Right.
It would have been a problem for the Columbus Metro if that line did not collide and really kill the supercell there.
Right.
So could have been a lot worse.
Yes, it's a blessing for sure. And so certainly a lot of you probably woke up and are maybe still waking up in Americus. The heaviest rain and lightning just kind of getting to you right into town as you get on, you know, if you're anywhere near downtown, and then up toward the Andersonville Historic Site, we're starting to see the heavy rain, and there may be some small hail in there, but we're talking the potential of up to 50 to 60 mile per hour winds. Yep. So we're checking the velocity and see if there's anything kind of suspect here. Still maybe a little on the north side there of Americas.
Yeah,
very broad.
Yeah, can you all queue up maybe the Americas radar on one of the max boxes, and we can take that and maybe have Marianne kind of telestrate, and just to take another look at this, take a better view from a much lower cut than what we're getting here from.
Because this could be way above the ground.
Right. So we'll take a look at that for you. All right. So this is out of Robins Air Force Base. The radar beam is several thousand feet in the air, and that's the reason we got that radar in Americas, right, Tyler?
Yeah, to fill kind of that void. Yeah.
Yeah, because we got Fort Novacell way to the southwest. We got Warner Robins way to the northeast. We've got Maxwell Air Force Base way to the northwest. It's just kind of a radar desert, and we filled that with our next gen radar network.
Yes. So. Brought to you by us here at WTVM and our stations here. And again, we still have that severe thunderstorm warning that includes the Highway 19 corridor, 280 corridor in Sumter County, Sly County, technically southeastern Webster County as well. So we're going to basically look at this area right here, north side of Americus, and let's see if we can just kind of give you an idea. You know, some of the little neighborhoods here, Arles, New Era community. It would actually be going more up to the northeast, but still up Highway 49. We'd certainly want to watch that. That warning, 20 more minutes, severe thunderstorm warning that goes into effect. I see some trees down. That looks like maybe Cherokee.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, and you saw that coming to work.
I posted that to my Facebook. So
you saw that. That was before the storms even got here.
That was around midnight whenever I got in. I have the Americas radar view pulled up if you wanted to see it as well.
Let's see.
Yeah, perfect.
So Schley County is almost completely in the clear now as well. So we're just holding on. It's really, at the moment, we are really just focusing on Sumter County. You're the last county that's really getting the worst of this weather as it's moving through. And of course, we're using that next gen radar network, that exclusive radar that we have only here at WTVM in the area. Again, it's the radar that fills the gap for us. So you can see right now in Americas, they've got those winds along that line right there. So, and I got some reports from people in Americas about how windy it is, and they're getting lots of rain, and you of course have all that lightning. Plains, we can of course zoom in and get that idea who's seeing the worst of it. New Era, you're about to get those very gusty winds, of course, or you're already seeing them. And you're going to get that extra bit of rainfall, that really heavy rain that's coming down that we've seen here in Columbus. When we had that severe thunderstorm warning roll through around 1 o'clock this morning, we picked up around 2 inches of rainfall in a very short period of time. That's why we had that flash flood warning issued for Muskogee County. But like I was saying, really the area we're focusing on right now is Sumter County. You have that little portion of Webster County that is still getting those strong storms. I'll go ahead and kind of turn this off and get a better look at that radar where you're still getting that really heavy rainfall, because sometimes it's not showing us that best view. What do y'all? What's your opinion of that?
Yeah, just for giggles, Elliot, can you take velocity real quick on that?
Yeah,
I want
of
to see what
course.
velocity shows on the America's radar. See if we can see any kind of kink or swirl or anything. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, not too hot right there.
yeah.
But-
It's really close to the radar, so it may even be shooting lower than the cloud base at that point. So yeah.
Yeah. But like I was saying, I think that radar view, there's still, like I was saying, Schley County, you're almost in the clear. That worst part of that line of storms that's right here is almost completely out of your area. That's what we were talking about, that first initial line, and what follows behind it is just that rain, that continued rainfall. Of course you're getting the thunder, of course you're getting the lightning as well, and the very gusty winds. But as the system continues to push further to the southeast, not going to be as much of a problem. Now, like I was saying, Sumter County, you're starting to get into the worst of it. Now, that first portion, Americus, like I was saying, getting the majority of that worst line right there. That's where you're getting the really gusty conditions. Plains, U2 as well. So if we look closer, you can see Leslie, you're going to be one of the last spots. This system continuing to move southeast, you're going to be getting those very gusty conditions. I think this severe thunderstorm had wind gusts up to around 60 miles per hour reported on it earlier. But yeah, we are almost in the clear here in the Chattahoochee Valley. And I think once this initial line pushes through, we're going to get those those tornado watches again canceled for this area. So that, of course, is great news for us here in the Chattahoochee Valley. Still got those showers lingering in portions of the area, some lighter rain trying to cross the river right there, Russell County, Barber County, getting some of those last bits of those showers. Over near Lumpkin, still getting some heavy rainfall, but this initial line that we're still tracking, that's the one that's been pushing through. That's the line that was causing all those severe thunderstorm warnings we've been on air for all morning for you. So this is what we've been watching, and it's continuing this progression, but it has been very good for us. I think the way we presented this system, with it having that highest threat for our East Alabama counties and portions of our Georgia counties, where we did see those tornado warnings issued for us earlier this morning, but we haven't seen them on this side, and that's what we were kind of expecting and what we've been talking about. So the good news is, like I was saying, this system's starting to wind down almost completely out of our area, so that, again, good news for us. But we're still getting lots of rain, lots of very gusty winds, and of course lightning as well. But these conditions still create dangerous conditions on the roads. So very wet. We've got, of course, lots of reports of downed trees on the roads, of course. So make sure you're especially taking caution as you head out your Sunday morning, because there's going to be some debris, maybe even, of course, power outages. We were mentioning that earlier through a few spots. DK, do you have anything you want to add over that?
Yeah, we'll talk about it. And look, we are still keeping a close eye on what has been going on over the last little bit. We've got our radar view in Americas pulled up here for you one more time. Looking a little messier because we're getting a lot of rain on top of that radar site. So it's got a lot of rain to kind of look through first. But the storm itself, Andersonville there in the northern part of the county, bending back down to just west of Americus, down toward Friendship and Plains. That's where the line is situated at the moment. Now, out ahead of it, you're still getting some heavy rain in pockets here and there. And this is what the radar is supposed to do for us, right? Give you that better view in Sumter County of what's going on. If we were to look at this with another perspective, we wouldn't be able to tell these pockets of heavy rain where they were. But Leslie, DeSoto, Cobb, those are communities there on Highway 280 as you move out of Sumter County that you haven't tapped into the strongest winds yet, but it is on the way here pretty soon. So that's just another point of view for you from down in Sumter County. Let's show you a different point of view though. Let's pull the view all the way out, show you a big picture. and we'll put another view on here for you so we can see the storms everywhere. So we've got that line of storms still through Macon and to our far eastern counties, including Americus, bending back down towards Shellman. And then look down into Clay County, Georgia. You've got on the bottom part of the county, what I call the boot of Clay County right here, you've got a pretty strong storm that's going to start to come up pretty soon. So there's Bluffton, and we'll watch this one for you too. In fact, let's go to the velocity view of this thing and see if there's any trouble spots. Nothing showing up yet, but once again, because that storm's so far south and down here, I'll watch the back end of that pretty closely. That, of course, has a chance at perhaps impacting the southern part of Clay County, but we're still not seeing anything significant as of right now. No formal warning with that or anything like that. So we'll go back to the radar view, pull things out for you in that big picture. Just going through again behind the scenes here, looking at Facebook messages and different ways that folks are able to get in touch with us. And no news is good news for the most part. So over the last hour or so, or hour and a half or so, we haven't had any major reports of damage, nothing more than, again, trees down and that sort of thing as these storms have passed on through. Most of the damage and most of the concern was initially when these storms were in East Alabama and when we had those tornado warning reports. And I think just adding it up, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 counties, I believe, under tornado warnings at some point this morning. So certainly an active night, active morning, but now those storms are moving on. And look, the same preparations that everybody out there was going through before this event, we wouldn't have asked you to do any of this. We asked you to do it for this event, but we would want you to do that anyway. Just on any typical time of the year. We always ask you to have a way to get watches and warnings, right? We asked you to do that for this severe weather event. We always ask you to have a severe weather safety plan in place in your home. We asked you to do that for this event too. We ask you to have a severe weather safety kit that you can take there with you, maybe with that flashlight, with some essential items, with a weather radio, with a battery operated radio. Again, those are things that we would ask you to do any single day out of the year. We just really wanted to emphasize it with this particular weather event because we knew how strong those storms were as they were coming in. Initially, we knew what the potential was, the potential for loss of life and that sort of thing. We know of at least 32 deaths from this system, not in Alabama or Georgia, but west of here as those storms were moving through yesterday and earlier today. I say yesterday, we're now kind of crossed over midnight again, but once again, that was the kind of threat that we were under. So we ask you to do these things, not for this particular event, but any time that we have severe weather threatening the area. Make sure you've got a plan, you've got a kit, and you've got a way to get the information. So important this time of year, and not just one way, but more than one way to get the information. We always talk about the WTVM weather app, and that's a great way to get it. But remember, this particular event, Android app users were having issues. Something happened in the app world, not here at WTVM, but with the folks that run the app. And look, that wasn't working for Android users for a period of time. But we were still with you in a lot of different places. There were people asking me on Facebook, where can I see you guys? Lots of places. If you lose your power, I mean, we're streaming. If you have power on your devices, you can watch us at WTVM.com/live. That's a great place to see us. The weather app, we were streaming on Facebook. We were streaming in a lot of different places. And that's, again, a source of information that you have, but we want you to have multiple sources of information when we get into these big weather events. So just a reminder for you. Again, we put these up here. Maybe folks think that we're trying to hype things up or talk about the weather in some kind of different way. Well, I would do this anyway. I want you to have this in place on a sunny day where there's nothing going on and there's no rain in the forecast for another week. I still want you to have these things in place because that's the time to do it. When the weather is quiet, when the weather is calm, that way we're not scrambling, we're not panicking when the weather starts to get kind of rough or we've got these storms just starting to push on in. All right, so let's talk about the storms that we've got for you. Pull the radar view back up and see what's happening here across the Chattahoochee Valley. And what we'll do for those of you in-house here, what we'll probably do is at 4 a.m. we'll go back to regular programming. So 4 a.m. we'll go back to regular programming because these storms should be through Sumter County by that point. Our southern storms don't look like they're doing that much in Clay, Quitman, or Randolph. So I think for about another 9 minutes or so, we'll stay with this, and then we'll send it back over to regular programming after that. Right now, the worst of the weather is clearing the Macon area, although still really strong winds and some heavy rain in the middle of downtown. And we're looking at it from the radar view out in Warner Robins. So once again, you move to a different area, you get a different radar site here, because what our system wants to do is show us the closest thing it can. That's very, very important, of course, as we've been telling you all morning, seeing these storms from a lower level in the atmosphere, not looking at them from thousands and thousands of feet, but looking at them at a lower level and seeing what's going on. So right now, the worst weather pushing through our eastern counties here in Georgia. And this is matching up pretty well with some of those futurecast views that we were talking about earlier this week. We were putting those end times anywhere around 4 to 5 a.m. and that looks like it's going to be the case for our counties out here. Now look, we're still alert, we're still watching things for you, and even down here to the south, Clay County, I told you about that earlier, that storm coming up into Bluffton. We're going to watch it, and if this thing turns into a situation where there's a tornado warning, we'll be right back up here with you. But this storm does have potential to impact southern Randolph County, southern Clay County, but the overall environment is changing, and that's good news for us. This happens a lot in our area. We'll look west and we find the storms are really strong. Those ingredients for severe weather are coming together, and sometimes here in the Chattahoochee Valley, things just don't get in phase. Sometimes we don't have the energy that we need. Sometimes we may not have some of the spin that we need. Sometimes the storm system that's causing all this is moving up way to the north, and it's pulling a lot of that energy with it. And that means that we don't typically get everything coming together in a big time severe weather concern. That's what we like to see, of course. Now, with this particular system, we had those things coming together across parts of East Alabama, but as things have progressed in this direction, we have lost some of the energy that we need to get those storms going. That has stayed way down here to the south. We've lost some of that spin that we need to get those storms rotating. That's racing off to the east and to the northeast. The values are a little lower down here. And that's the kind of stuff that your meteorologists, Storm Team 9, the National Weather Service, that's the kind of stuff that we're looking at. And that's the kind of stuff that we're investigating for you and tracking for you and really paying attention to, because that's why we can give you those alerts and those all clears. And that's also why you typically don't see us running in here and hyping up a bunch of weather stuff, because a lot of times we know that things just aren't going to come together like that to make this a really big deal. However, with this system, we knew that it would, at least in spots, at least in central Alabama, South Alabama, Mississippi, and as those storms were pushing over, it was going to be too close of a call there to not make sure that we were all prepared, to not make sure we were all ready for this thing as it pushed in. And we certainly had some issues today in East Alabama. If you're just joining us, and again, we're approaching the top of the hour here, if you're just joining us, we had several confirmed tornadoes in East Alabama when this system was pushing in. The last little bit, we haven't had a lot of reports, which is good news, but also understand that it's early in the morning and that we're not going to get a lot of those reports in anyway, because it's dark, because there's not a lot of folks out and about. But we had some concerns early on, had a few confirmed tornadoes early on. That's why we, of course, got here with you initially. But right now things are looking up for sure in terms of the overall severe weather threat. Ariana, you got anything over there?
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, so that matches up similar to what we're saying. So these counties over here, that includes Clay, Quitman, and Randolph, the tornado watch is going to expire at the top of the hour. And that makes sense again. So we're losing that signature for storms that might possibly produce a tornado. Here's an update on that watch for you. And I would bet the National Weather Service in Peachtree City will probably clear some of these counties too as we approach the top of the hour or so. Now you see the expiration time on there, 10 a.m. Don't think that's when the threat ends. The threat's going to end a lot sooner than that for a lot of folks out here. So that's Sunday, 10 a.m., the expiration time for this part of the watch out here. The severe weather threat is going to continue as this line pushes across Georgia and gets into the eastern part of the state here. But for the Chattahoochee Valley, our threat ends very soon, within the next 30 minutes or so, and probably a lot sooner than that as we continue to track these storms on through. We'll get down in here one more time for you, show you what's happening in Sumter County, Sly County. The worst of the weather pushing out of Sly County as we speak. You see that batch of heavy rain and wind right there clearing the county. Even down here in Sumter County, we've got one more area of stormy weather, some of that heavier rain, little embedded areas of heavy rain down in Webster County. That could get through here into Plains, into Friendship, into Americus, eventually maybe Andersonville. But it's not amounting to much as of right now. Still, we're going to watch all this for you. If there's anything that pops up after 4, it's not like we're going anywhere. Somebody with Storm Team 9 is going to be here with you. We'll keep you covered, but we're not anticipating once we get back to regular programming to have to get back on here for you with the storms that are coming on through. So we're still keeping an eye out. We're still staying alert. We still encourage you to, but we believe overall the severe weather concerns are winding down. Let's pull the velocity view back up here one more time just to see if there are any trouble spots. And again, that's the view out of Americus. Looks good for us for now. Another view out here, there's that storm down in Clay County that we were telling you about near Bluffton. So again, you're looking at some rotation, but not anything significant enough to prompt a tornado warning. That's going to cross Highway 27 in Clay County here pretty soon. And that'll get into, it looks like, Edison County, Georgia. After that, and then, Calhoun County, Georgia. I knew that. Edison's the city down there, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I knew that. Calhoun County, Georgia soon, and then eventually maybe Randolph County. But once it gets up in here, once again, we're talking about the overall threat for a tornado being a bit less anyway. So that's some good news. So let's go back to the radar view one more time. I'm going to show you a big picture because we'll get set to get you back to regular programming here in a couple of minutes. So big picture tonight as we approach 4 a.m. Eastern time. Still scattered storms from Columbus and points south. Pockets of heavier rain. Still some pockets of gustier winds in the mix. But as far as any warnings go, let's pull that up for you. We'll show you any current warnings that we have. And there is a severe thunderstorm warning still in place for some of those counties we were telling you about earlier, Sly, Webster, Sumter. But it looks like a new tornado warning's popped up, but that's north and east of Macon, so that's not heading in our direction. And we just got notification of the tornado watch being canceled in some more communities. So let's show you that. We'll pull the tornado watch back up, and it looks like Chattahoochee, Stewart, Webster, Marion, Taylor County, you've been cleared from that tornado watch. And this is going to be the case as we get through the rest of the night. They'll slowly chip away at that tornado watch until none of our counties are left in it and the line of storm passes on through. And that's the good news that we'll have to report for you. So we'll leave you with a radar view. We'll pull it back up here for you tonight. We'll leave you with a radar view and a couple of reminders too. So don't forget News Leader 9 morning, Sunday morning. That's going to start for you at 7 a.m. Eastern time. So you can tune in News Leader 9 morning Sunday, get the latest on any damage reports, the latest on what has been happening across the southeast, because it's not just been our area that has had to deal with a severe weather threat. Many other places having to deal with the same concern. So News Leader 9 morning, 7 a.m. Eastern time. Get the latest on the weather, damage reports, that sort of thing. We'll, of course, have more updates on the WTVM weather app throughout the course of the morning. So we'll have video push alerts for you. We'll have more updates for you on what's going on as these storms clear the area. As soon as we get off the air, we'll have a chance to get on here and talk a bit more for you, too. Tornado watch just canceled for Clay, Quitman, and maybe Randolph counties. That's good news, too. So more good news coming in. But we'll have a lot more coverage for you on the television side of things later today, a lot more coverage for you on the WTVM weather app. We thank you so much for staying with us tonight. Again, we don't take this responsibility lightly. Whenever we're telling you about a big severe weather threat and telling you what's going on, telling you to prepare, we do the same thing. We prepare our families. We are ready to go in case, again, the worst happens. We prepare for the worst, but we hope, again, that things fizzle out or nothing happens. In this case, We had some things happen in East Alabama, but things are a little better over on the Georgia side of the river as these storms have raced on across. So thank you so much for joining us here tonight. I want to thank everybody here at Storm Team 9-2, Dana Barker, Tyler Allender, Allie-Ann McCord, Ariana Whittick, everybody in house tonight, of course, making this happen and keeping track of these storms as they raced across the Chattahoochee Valley. We'll continue to watch things for you tonight, but the severe weather concerns winding down across the Chattahoochee Valley. That watch being canceled for many communities. More coverage on the app, more coverage on News Leader 9 mornings starting at 7 a.m. Eastern Time. But from all of us here at Storm Team 9, I'm Chief Meteorologist Derek Kincaid saying so long, and we'll see you next time.
This has been a severe weather update from your Storm Team 9. We now join our regularly scheduled program already in progress.